Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hope everybody is doing well tonight. I'm tired, but I had a sort of busy weekend this weekend. Um, Saturday we went to well, I had a busy Saturday. So Saturday we went to made a drive to Mississippi and back to a wedding. My oldest nephew got married. So we drove over there and to go to the wedding. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. So happy for him. But it's just tired. I've never been a rider going on trips. I hate to ride in the car, be cooped up in the car. And it's only, I mean, it was just a little past Memphis that we had to go to because it was just right over the Arkansas border into, it was in Coldwater, Mississippi, close to South Haven. So it was only about 2.5 hours or so to get over there and then to get back. But anyway, I don't like to ride. The older I get, I get antsy and I have to get up and move. But anyway, other than that, but then so yesterday I didn't do anything. But well, I watched football, of course. My Bears won. They came back and won. They played the Vikings, which is Mrs. Echo's favorite team. So we were texting each other back and forth during the game, giving each other a hard time, all in good fun, of course. But yeah, my Bears managed to pull out a win, so I was happy. So in the midst of watching ball games, I had to get my slideshow ready for tonight, get all the information put together and in the computer for tonight. But anyway, and I worked a few hours today. Still very slow, but anyway. So I hope you guys had a good week. I hope you had a good Monday. We all know how Mondays can be, obviously. Like I said, mine wasn't bad. And then so tomorrow I've got to take baby brother has a doctor's appointment, so I got to take him, or I'm going. I don't have to. I'm going to. He asked me to. So I'm gonna take him to his doctor's appointment because what they're gonna do, he at least won't be able to drive home. So anyway, got that going on. But so how's everybody been? Like I said, I hope everybody's doing good. For anybody new here, welcome. Thank you for choosing to hang out with us and learn about some cold case, missing person cold cases tonight. We do this every Monday night for the most part. Every once in a while, it'll get pushed to Tuesday, but for the most part, we're here on Monday nights at 8:30 Central till whenever, to whenever we get finished discussing whatever cases we are discussing. And tonight we're going to be, so once again, for anybody new, we went through all the 50 states and featured just almost said a YouTube naughty word. We featured missing persons just from each state, throughout the state. Then we took a little break from that. So now we're going through each state again, but featuring missing persons from whatever city from each state. So we're down to California tonight. So I chose Los Angeles because obviously Los Angeles is a big city, big place. So when I was looking on the Charlie Project to find the cases, most of them that popped up were from Los Angeles. So I think I have 8 cases tonight. I know that seems like a lot, but once again, there's not a whole lot of information that I was able to find on most of these cases. I think on a few of them, I might have been able to find some short articles with just a little bits of information that's not in the Charlie Project information. But anyway, so we'll be doing that tonight. I got a couple of things we're going to go over quickly first before we get into that. Some important things. But let's see who is here. I see lots of people are in the house tonight, and fingers crossed things are working tonight. I'm not going to say what, but for right now, things are working. So maybe it won't turn into a total dumpster fire yet. But Mustang is here. Welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Miss Paula is here. Always good to see Miss Paula. Please check out Mustang. Please check out Miss Paula. Both wonderful channels. Miss Barb is here. Hello, dear. She'll come up. There she is. Sorry, the computer is working, but it's just a little laggy. As usual, kind of like me, I'm a little laggy. So it's always a pleasure to see Miss Barbara. I hope you're doing well tonight, ma'am. Please check out, I'm sure anybody with wrenches, Miss Barb can throw it in. Check out Timmy's Legacy. That is Miss Barbara's channel for her son, Timmy D's. Obviously, she's still trying to get justice for Timmy. It will happen one day. One day. Because Miss Barb is a warrior. That's all I can say. Miss Barb is a warrior. Chris is here. Oh, don't tell me. I shouldn't have said anything. There he is. Chris is here. Good to see you, Chris. Always good to see Chris. Butterfly Kisses is here. Once again, it might take a minute. There we go. Welcome. Good to see you. I think it's I don't know, maybe we need to clean off I lost my cursor. There it is. Anyway. Just okay. Anyway, welcome, Ava Hawkshaw. It's a new name for me. Welcome. She says, thanks for covering California. The missing are often missed here. You are very welcome. We are glad to have you here. I'm assuming this may be your first time here, or maybe you're just the first time in chat. But if it's your first time here, thank you so much. This is a safe space. This is a no drama space. You know, everybody's thoughts and opinions are welcome. You know, we just ask that, you know, everybody play nice, and we usually don't have any trouble here. Every once in a while we'll have a troublemaker come in, but they are dispatched quickly. There's True Crime Talk with Frank Meister. Hello, sir. Good to see you. Please do check out Frank Meister. Says, good evening, everyone. And he has come out of retirement. Well, that is good to hear. That is good to hear. We like to see Frank Meister. Yeah, please do, check out Frank Meister's channel. He does great work. Let's see. I just don't want to miss anybody. Hold on. Whole batch of comments just popped up. Let's see. Yeah, Ava says, welcoming Frank Meister back to work. Yeah, always good to see Frank Meister. There's the Miss Z, another one of my favorites. Please check out Child Junkies United, Miss C, Doc, that whole crew over there. Wonderful channel. I was actually able to catch her live stream. She and Doc usually do live streams Thursday nights and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. It's either 7 or 8 p.m. Central. I can never keep up. I just know I got a notification last night, and I was stopped what I was doing. I think I was in the middle of making my slideshow, so I could go watch Miss Z's live stream and be in chat. And I did share it on my community tab. So if you did not get to catch it live, please do be a replay crew. Very, very awesome show as always, but it was just very heartbreaking and horrifying and infuriating case that she was talking about. But it's important. It needed to be talked about. It needs to be brought to light. I just appreciate so much everything that they do over there at Child Junkies United. So please do check them out if you have not already. So welcome, Miss C. Always good to see you. Chris said his team won. You have to remind me again, which team is your team, Chris? Oh, it was a good day. Well, it was kind of a good day. My Bears won. San Francisco won, which is my mom's team, which I like them too. The Cowboys are playing tonight, which is Echo's team, and they're pretty much handling the Raiders right now, 24-6. I didn't look to see if the Colts won or if the Colts had a bye week. I try to keep up with them too. I like the Colts back. We started watching them back when when Manning was playing, and then through Andrew Luck, and then I really like the quarterback they have now. So, but I forgot to. I was so engrossed in the Bears and the Vikings game yesterday, I forgot to keep up with most of the other ones. The Chiefs unfortunately lost again. Don't know what's going on with them there, but at least the Bears. I'm just happy that the Bears won. And actually, the Bears are now number 1 in the division in the NFC North, which is just, that blows my mind. Blows my mind. I'm happy, but it blows my mind. So anyway, I'll quit babbling and let's see who else we got here. We got Miss Doodle. Hello, ma'am. You know what's coming. Oh, let me find it. Oh, goodness.
Ma'am, any reason you were pushing 90?
Southern Gal True Crime starts in 5 minutes. She's covering cold cases tonight.
Oh yeah? I love that channel.
Thanks, officer.
Oh dang, that lady was Doodle.
Sorry, I have to do it every time. Every time Miss Doodle's here, I have to do that. And she made that, by the way, for anybody who has not seen it. She actually made 3 of them. I've got to get the other 2 uploaded to StreamYard. So I can use those. I can rotate those for Doodlebug. Yeah, Ava says justice is slow but solid. Absolutely true. There's Junior. Hello, friend. Good to see you. It doesn't say if he's in Michigan or Kentucky tonight. I'm going to guess Michigan. He can let me know if I'm right or wrong. Oh, good to see you, Junior. Thank you. Doodle is getting in links. Let's see. Ava says it's just been a while. I don't know if you're talking to me or somebody else, but we are glad you are here once again. There's Julie's. Hello, hello. Did she come up? Yeah, there she is. Hello, my dear. I saw Julie's. Where did I see you at? Mind of Monsters had a live stream last night too, by the way. Just one of her what does she call them? Her barely alives, just talking about kind of like we did Friday when we have our just chill live streams and not really talk about true crime a whole lot. Though we did talk about some missing persons. But I think Julie was in there, or maybe I saw Julie and Miss Z's. I saw Julie somewhere in some chat at some point within the last day, last night sometime. Anyway, I don't know. It's Monday. My brain hasn't woken up yet. Very good. Ava says she knows most of the people. Excellent. Yeah, Julie says Trouble is here. You're not Trouble. No, Echoes is not here, so Trouble's not here. Yeah, I got to see Echoes and Mrs. Echoes because, of course, they were at the wedding because it was Echo's son, who's actually the one that was getting married. So they flew down from Minnesota. They flew into Memphis and then drove over to the venue where the wedding was. So we all got to hang out together. Had a good time. We had a good time. Let's see if anybody else. Yes, I'm going to get to that one. Absolutely. Thank you for reminding me. I did remember to find the article and to upload the picture. So thank you, Chris. Yes, I'm going to get to that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, we've had a missing endangered for it was 2 weeks yesterday. The Hector Barrientos, 19-year-old, that has gone missing from Ola, Arkansas. Possibly, I don't want to say a whole lot because nothing's been officially confirmed, but I'm just going to show you give you his information and then read in I'll have to find that article. Find an article that actually Mom, because we were talking about Hector's case in Mind of Monsters live stream last night, and so she was going to share it. So she was looking up his poster and a possibly troubling article about something that they found popped up. So we'll get to that. Patriotism is here. Good to see you. Always good to see you. 8 p.m. That's what I was thinking. 8 p.m. Central. So Miss Z and Doc go live 8 p.m. Central on Thursday nights and Sunday nights. And so Thursday nights, I think, because I won't be able to do a live stream Friday night. So Thursday night, I'll probably do a live stream after Trial Junkies United. So they usually go, I don't know, hour and a half. So I'll just schedule mine to start at about 9:30, but I can wait, I'll be in chat and watching Miss Z and Doc on their live stream with whatever they're going to be talking about tomorrow night. And then when that one gets through, then I'll start mine. So anybody please come join us at Trial Junkies United. And then if you want to, we jump on over to mine when I start. We're just going to be sharing some. I have my browser. I've got to clean out my phone, my browser on my phone. I've got so many cases and things saved that I've got to clean it out. So Thursday night, we're just going to I've saved up a lot of missing persons cases from disappearedblog.com, which I really like that site. I like it probably better than Charlie Project. Usually has the same information as Charlie Project or better and more information. So we're just going to go through. I'm going to make a slideshow and we're just going to go through how many ever I have saved on my phone. I think I have about 10 or 11, but it won't be as in-depth Thursday night as we do like it'll be tonight with a little bit more information. We'll just go through the basic information of what's on the Disappeared blog website, just to get that information out there, get it into people's heads. But once again, we'll talk about that. I digress. We'll talk about that later. So let's see who else is here. Make sure I haven't missed anybody. Patriotism says go Cowboys. Yeah, the Cowboys are going tonight. It's 24-6, almost the end of the first half. So Cowboys are doing good. Just when I think I get caught up, a whole batch of stuff pops up. Oh, Ava's a San Francisco fan. You and my mom would get along. Ava says, go SF. I'm assuming you mean San Francisco. Yeah, they beat the mess out of whoever they played Sunday. I can't remember who they played now, but they beat them. They beat them pretty good. Yes, I love when he said that last. Ms. Z says, Doc likes to say I get my righteous indignation going on some of those live streams. Yes, I cracked it when he said that. But hey, righteous indignation is a good thing. It can be a good thing, especially with the subject matter that y'all were covering and sharing last night. I'm telling you guys, go over to the channels, subscribe, watch some videos, watch some live streams. You won't be disappointed. You may be infuriated at a lot of them because of the cases that are what happened in the cases that are covered, but definitely something that needs to be talked about. But yeah, I liked when he said that, your righteous indignation. You're more than welcome, or you are more than welcome for me being there. I know I said that totally wrong, but anyway, I was glad to be there. Absolutely. Anytime I can be there at a live stream, when it's actually live, I will be there. And if for some reason I'm busy or not at home, I'm definitely on replay crew for all of Trial Junkies United live streams they do. Let's see. Oh, Chris is talking to Doodle. I thought he was talking to me. Oh, Junior's in Michigan. That's what I figured. How's everybody's weather? Once again, Arkansas weather is still schizophrenic. It's hot. It wasn't too bad today. It was low 70s. Well, upper 60s, very low, maybe 70, 71 today. So it was nice. But starting Thursday night, it's supposed to set in with the rain, and maybe some strong storms. So we need the rain, don't get me wrong, but not all at one time. Definitely don't need the storms. But anyway, so it's supposed to rain Thursday and Friday. So I'll be home because I'm not getting out and schlepping groceries in the rain. Maybe I can get some videos recorded for next week. I think I've already got all the videos recorded and uploaded for this week. So be on the lookout for those. One should be ready, should upload Wednesday, and I think I have one scheduled for Friday, and then one scheduled for Saturday, I believe. So be on the lookout for those. Hey GP, good to see you. Welcome. Oh, the Colts are off. Okay, so that's why I didn't remember if they won or not. Oh, that's right. Your team is the Broncos. Yeah, the Broncos. Yeah, the Broncos beat. Yeah, they're the ones that beat the Chiefs. So boo Broncos. No, I like the Bron. I mean, I watched the Bronco. Of course, I've been watching football since I was old enough to know what football was. Loved John Elway back in the day, and then when Peyton left the Colts, he went to the Broncos for a while. So I had to follow Peyton over to the Broncos. Still watch the Colts too, but anyway. Hey, Black Knight 007, always good to see you, friend. Good to have you here. Good to see all familiar faces here and some new faces. Absolutely, we love seeing new people here. Junior said, "Oh, you're talking to Mustang. I thought she was talking to me." So I tried to say hi on your live stream, but I couldn't get in. Did Mustang do a live stream? How did I miss that? I missed it. I'm gonna have to be replay crew. All right, we'll get caught up, and then we will take these couple of things that we're going to go over quickly, and then we'll get into our Los Angeles missing persons cases. Wait a minute. I can't see your picture. Hold on. Are you saying you're a Giants fan? No, no. You're in Atlanta, right? In Georgia somewhere. You gotta let me know. I can't see the picture. Are you pointing at the picture? I can't see. I'm looking on even on my computer. This picture's about this big. Oh, who beat the Cardinals yesterday? You a Bears fan? I'm a Bears fan. Thank you. We got some Bears fans. Doodle. Oh goodness. For some reason, my Doodle's a cake fan. Somehow that doesn't surprise me. Where's the cake? You have to share. Yeah, patriotism's a Cowboys fan. Let's see. I don't know if I have something on my touchscreen mouse or touchpad or something, but nothing's moving right. Or it could be operator error as usual. Thank you, everyone. Miss Barb is getting in links also. Thank you so much. What? Uh-oh, did Black Knight almost or accidentally get blocked? Oh, no. Yep, nope. Black Knight's a good guy. Yeah, sometimes the buttons get pushed accidentally. Absolutely. Oh, he's back. He's back. Okay, I think I'm caught up. All right. Right, so the first thing we're going to talk about, I guess I can go ahead and put my slideshow up. It'll come up. There it goes. Okay, but first, let me find where I'm going. I'm going to turn my camera off for a second while I'm doing this because you're not going to be able to see my face anyway when I put these up. Where are my pictures? There they are. All right, so this is Hector Barrientos. He's the young man that has been missing since November 2nd from Ola, Arkansas. He's just 19 years old, a white male, 5'5", 140 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen near West Pennington Street in Ola around midnight on November 2nd, 2025. He was last seen wearing blue pants, a black hoodie, gray Nike shoes, and maybe wearing a black puffy or a puffer or puffy style jacket. So if you have seen Hector or know of his whereabouts, please contact the Yale County Dispatch at 479-495-4881. And I should have. So then, like I said, so that is Hector. And I'm hoping upon hope that this article that I'm going to read to you has nothing to do with Hector. But I hate to say I have a bad feeling. I don't have a very good feeling. And then plus I got on a Facebook and they do have a Facebook page or group. It's called either Find Hector Barrientos or Finding Hector Barrientos. And just from the comments, that were on there. It is, like I said, I don't want to, nothing's official, but let's see. I can't I can't talk and type at the same time. So once again, when I was in the chat in Mind the Monsters live stream last night, when we were talking about this case, she found this article, this information. Now, once again, it could hope upon hope that it does not have anything to do with Hector's case, but once again, this nothing official. And this article came out the 17th, which I believe was yesterday. Yep, yesterday, or no, today, but it happened yesterday, Sunday. So body recovered from the waters of Lake Ola Dale, which is in Yale County, Arkansas. So it says Yale County, Arkansas. The Ola Police Department received a call at approximately 11 a.m. Sunday, November 16th, about a body floating in Lake Ola Dale. A fisherman reported the body, and the Ola Police Department, along with the Yale County Office of Emergency Management and Yale County Dive Team, responded to the scene. and at approximately 12:30 p.m., a body or the body was recovered. The body is being transported to the Arkansas State Crime Lab to determine the manner and circumstances and identity. Although it does not say that in the article, it just says to determine manner and circumstances of death. So, like I said, we always want to keep hope, but like I said, just from the location is in close proximity to where Hector went missing. I know that the searches they were doing were in rural areas, wooded areas, like I say, country type, farmland type area. Once again, nothing official has been, no official statements have been released by either the family or law enforcement, so nothing official yet. But like I said, just due to the proximity of where the body was located, and comments on Facebook in the group, it might possibly have something to do with Hector. But anyway, I'll keep an eye on it, definitely. I will let you know when and if anything official is released. But we'll just absolutely, no matter, regardless if it does turn out to be Hector or not, still prayers, thoughts and prayers to his family. Absolutely. Because if it's not Hector, he's still out there somewhere missing. Yesterday, actually, I think it was exactly 2 weeks since he's been missing. But anyway, I just wanted to share that. And then, so we have that. And then we have, this is the one that Chris sent to me. And let me find this is from Los Angeles. And I had seen this. It popped up in my news feed a few days ago. But I kind of forgot, and I did read it. And I thought, that's really, really not good. But then Chris sent it to me, a link to this article yesterday or the day before. But these two gentlemen, and since we were covering cases from Los Angeles tonight, it seemed appropriate to share this. These two gentlemen you see up here, they're not missing, but they are in Los Angeles hospital, and nobody knows who they are. So the hospital and authorities are seeking help identifying these two gentlemen. As you can see there, both of them are hooked up to breathing tubes on life support. I'm assuming it's life support. And they're just trying to find out. Apparently, nobody has come forward. No family members or friends or anybody has come forward to say, hey, I know either one or both of them. And they were found at different, I believe definitely at different times, and I believe in different places. But yet nobody has come forward to, I don't want to say claim them, that's not the right words, but to say, hey, yeah, this is my friend or my family member or whatever. As far as I know, nobody matching either one of their descriptions has been reported missing. I'm sure the law enforcement, the authorities check that. So anyway, I'll quit babbling and I will read what the article has to say. So this is from ktla.com, and it came out the 13th. It says a Los Angeles hospital is asking for the public's help identifying two men hooked up to breathing tubes and who have been receiving treatment this week, according to officials. A Los Angeles General Medical Center, which is operated by the LA County Department of Health Services, said that both men arrived on different days and neither had any identification on them. The first patient, listed as John Doe, was brought in on November 9th after he was found on North Algrante Avenue in Sylmar. He is believed to be about 36 years old, around 6 feet 2 inches tall, approximately 178 pounds, with blue eyes and dark hair. It says he does have a tattoo on his left forearm, according to hospital officials, and he has been on a breathing tube since arriving at the hospital. The second patient which is obviously also listed as just John Doe, was brought to the hospital on November 12th. So within 3 days of each other, they were brought in. After he was found unresponsive near 559 South Saris Avenue in downtown Los Angeles. He is described as being 35 years old, 6 feet tall, around 158 pounds, with brown eyes and a black afro. So, sorry, I'm trying to get through the ads. So hospital social workers say they have been unable to identify either man or locate any relatives or friends or anybody who knows these two gentlemen. So anyone who recognizes either patient is urged to contact Los Angeles General's Social Work Department. So for the first patient, which is the one on the picture, the one on the left, for the first patient or for just general weekly inquiries, contact Cesar Robles, who is a clinical social worker at 323-409-6884, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. For the second patient, the gentleman on the right on the slide, contact Crystal Perez, who is also a clinical social worker, at 323-409-4317. She can be reached Sunday through Wednesday, 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. You can also call the social work department at 323-409-5253. The after hours emergency line at, sorry, it jumped, at 323-409-6883, and the weekend on-call line at 323-409-5254. So I will put this picture on the picture and the information on Facebook, on my Facebook page and group, and then also on my community tab here on YouTube with all the numbers and the information. But I just wanted to share it tonight, and I thank you, Chris, once again for reminding me of this. Like I said, I remember reading about it when it first came out 3 or 4 days ago, but I'd forgotten about it until Chris messaged me and say, "Can you please share this?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, I can." Very important. Woo! It's hot in here. Goodness. All right. So that was that. Hold on, y'all. Watch out. I'm smashing buttons here. All right, let me get caught up in the comments once again. Now we will get started on our cases for the night. Where was I at? Okay, there I was at. Oh, did I forget to take that down? Okay. No, I don't think Blake Knight was blocked. I could see him posting. Anyway. Junior's blocked. Is Junior blocked? Oh goodness. Oh. GP says, I sent Chris a missing kid from Lafayette, Indiana. I have a friend that is missing his son. Nobody has heard or seen him since November 9th. Yeah, Chris can pass it my way. He might already have. I just might have not checked in my messages yet. I know I've had several notifications pop up since I've started, but I will definitely check it out and do whatever I can to help get some information out. Absolutely. And I'm sure any creator in here will be happy to as well. Lord have mercy, I'm sweating. I should have cracked the window. I know I can hear the wind blowing. Anyway. Oh, might help if I turn my camera back on too. I keep losing my cursor. There it is. Yeah, Mustang says praying he is found safe. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. If you do have a flyer, Mustang says if you have a flyer, I'll post in my Discord and YouTube if you want. Yep, as will I. Hey Dandy, good to see you, my dear. Welcome. Yeah, Dandy says, going back to the article I read, that may or may not have to do with Hector. But yeah, Dandy says, regardless of who they found, I'm glad a body has been recovered. So yeah, even if it's not Hector, another family out there will have their loved one back. Not the way, obviously, that we ever want a missing person or anybody to be found that way. But yeah, very sad. Yeah, so like I said, I'm really hoping it's not Hector. You know, not that I want it to be anybody else. You know, ideal situation would be that nobody would be found because nobody was deceased. But anyway, but I'll definitely once again, when and if they announce anything, I don't know how long it'll take to get the ID, you know, and things of that nature. But I will definitely keep my eye on it. I'm sure I'm sure. I was going to say I'm sure they'll say something on the local news, but I watched it last night after the ball game was over, and they said, and then we watched a little bit of the local news today, and they have not mentioned anything about it. So I don't know, but Facebook is a good source of information when it comes to updates on missing persons. Good to have you here as always, Dandy. And I might be fixing to start having a sneezing fit here. I know it is sad. Yeah, going back to the two gentlemen, GP said, so sad that nobody has said, hey, that's my friend. I know, that's what, it just breaks my heart. I mean, and it doesn't say, you know, it just said one was found unresponsive. I don't know what condition the other gentleman was found in, but obviously not in good condition since they're both on breathing tubes. So yeah, it's just heartbreaking to think that, you know, you have these two, you know, not one but two gentlemen, and nobody has come forward to say, hey, I know that, you know, like GP said, this is my friend, this is my loved one, this, you know. So we just don't know what the situation is, but hopefully somebody will come forward. I mean, I don't know, you know, they said they had no ID with them, so I don't know how else they could identify them, because you really wouldn't have fingerprints unless they happen to be in the system, have been arrested or at some point. I'm not saying that they had, but I mean, I don't know what other systems they could have been in, any other way to identify them. So it's just very, very sad. Absolutely. Thank you, Miss Paula. Thank you, Mustang. Why is everything okay? Everything's wonky on my computer as usual. Miss Barb says it's raining here. It's raining. Yeah, I think maybe what y'all are getting may be coming down this way, coming down to Arkansas. Thursday. I don't know. They say anytime between Thursday night and Friday morning it's going to get here. You are more than welcome, GP. Are you still? What did you do? Yeah, Miss Barb apparently is in Facebook jail again. What did you do to get in Facebook jail this time, Miss Barb? Were you being naughty and sharing those darn missing person flyers again? You got to learn to stop doing that. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, Mustang says Facebook sucks. They put people in jail for stupid things. Exactly. Exactly. Which one are you talking about, Chris? I'm assuming you're talking about one of the two gentlemen. Hold on, let me put the picture back up. So the one on the left is the light skinned one on the right is the dark skin. I don't know what you're asking about, which one. The first which I'm assuming they're going from right to left. Yeah, the first patient, which is the one on the left, was brought in the 9th. And then the second patient was the gentleman on the right, was brought in. He was the one that was found unresponsive. He was brought in on the 12th. It does not say if the first one, it just says he was brought in on the 9th. Didn't say if he was unresponsive. But now, like I said, once again, with them both bringing on breathing tubes, obviously something bad happened. So, anyway, yeah, just hope and pray that they can at least, even, if nobody comes forward, at least they can, like I said, I don't know how. They'll find a way. Hopefully they'll find a way to get these gentlemen identified. Yes, you are correct. Facebook is a pain in the booty. All right, let me get, I don't know why I closed that tab out. I need to use it. Anyway, let me get this first article loaded and we will get into our cases. Hopefully everything will load properly tonight. Let me get a drink before I start reading. All right. So like I said earlier, we are going to be featuring missing cases from Los Angeles. I think that's, what did I say? I have 8 of them. Once again, I know that sounds like a lot, but there wasn't a whole lot of information on most of them, but we'll go with what we got. It's better than nothing. So first, we have Jorge Acosta. He was just 12 years old. This may be the youngest one. I'm not sure. So Jorge has been, was last seen or has been missing since November 1st, 1992 from Los Angeles. He is classified as an endangered runaway. He is an Hispanic male, just 12 years old. When he went missing, he would be 45 years old as of 2025. And I think I put it, the smaller picture in the top right is age progression to age 30, what he could possibly look like at age 37. So when he went missing, he was 5 foot 1 inches tall, 115 pounds, with brown hair and green eyes. He does have a birthmark on his right hand, and he had previously broken his right arm. And he was last known to be wearing a black and yellow striped shirt and black pants. So I think this is basically all the information that we have. So Jorge was last seen traveling to a friend's home in Los Angeles. He never returned home. He's never been seen or heard from again. He is listed as a runaway, but it says details in his case are sketchy. So I don't know what sketchy, as in there's just not a lot of information, or the information that they may have come across is sketchy, as in they don't know if it's correct or not. So if you have any information, you can call the Los Angeles PD at 213-485-5381. I think that was the only, let's see. Well, maybe, let's see. I had the his web sleuth, I can't talk, thread up, but I don't think it really had, it really had any extra information. I guess they were comparing, they did have his DNA. From what I gather just from these comments, his DNA was submitted to the databases to see if there's any matches to any John Does out there. Because on September 11th of 2016, someone posted DNA sample submitted, tests were complete. but I'm assuming it did not come back as a match to anybody. Somebody posted in January of 2019, it's strange that there is so little info available for a 12-year-old missing. It's like nobody even missed him. I wonder how his home situation was. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, so his brother, Jorge's younger brother, actually posted on this thread. And on Web Sleuths, you do have to be verified as a family member or somebody that has intimate knowledge of the case before you can post, things as fact. So on November 28th of 2022, Jorge's brother said, Jorge is my brother, and I was 5 when he went missing. I appreciate everyone continuing to share his information. Absolutely. That is why we do these things. See, so he was replying to the comment, that's how strange it is that there is so little information. He says, I do miss him and I wish I knew more. So apparently the brother didn't, the family doesn't even know. So somebody else had asked, his brother, is there something else that you can tell us about the case? There's very little info to work on. How far away did his friend live? Did he walk? Did he take a bus? Were there any issues in the home that might have led him to run away? Were there ever any sightings of him? Or did he just literally never come home? And I don't think his brother answered. Let me go down further. But yeah, that's the questions I had. I'm like, the obvious questions, how far was it away between his house and the friend's house? Did he walk? Did he take a bus? Was he riding a bicycle? I also thought about too, were there issues in the home, or not even necessarily just in the home, at school, in any part of his life that would have made him want to run away, So it's just seemingly one of those that either just, he ran away or just vanished into thin air. Let's see if there's anything else. So someone else asked some good questions. They said, I feel for his family and wish there was more information. Did he disappear between home and his friend's house? I would assume that, because it said that he never made it home. This person asked, were there any dangers in the area, such as rivers, swamps, large forests that he could have walked into or fallen into? Absolutely. Did any other children go missing, or any attempted abductions around the time frame that he disappeared? How did the police investigate? How much, what kind of searches were done? Was it reported in the media? What do his parents think happened? What do the police think happened? Just all questions that all of us, I'm sure, would ask. Absolutely. So somebody else said, I believe there is, quote, I believe there is no way a 12-year-old ran away in 1992. Well, I disagree with that. Just my opinion. Unless he was believed to be with a relative, which doesn't sound like the case. He was only 12. His family must have been going insane with worry. Absolutely. And Ellie called him a runaway. Unfortunately, that's not uncommon even these days. As if there would have been somewhere legitimate to go at age 12. Well, I can understand this person's point of view, but 12 is not, 12 is not young to run away, unfortunately, at all. We've heard of 8, 9, 10-year-olds that run away, that are actual runaways, that are not just labeled as runaways. And it turns out that they weren't actually didn't actually run away, but they have been abducted or lured away. But anyway, so that's just, unfortunately, it is very frustrating when there's so little information. But then again, these are the kind of cases that need more attention brought to them, because there is so little information out there. So anyway, let's see. I come across, I don't think it's LA. Dandy said the LA County coroner shares pictures on Facebook of unclaimed, unidentified people that end up in the morgue. It's terribly sad. I know. I don't know if it's LA or there's one, and I'm sure I've liked the page or whatever, or it wouldn't show up in my news feed. But yeah, they do share pictures of deceased people in the morgue and identified, just, to see if anybody can identify them. But yeah, it's very jolting to be scrolling through Facebook and then all of a sudden you stop and it's just this, it like I said, it's very jarring. So, in my opinion, they should, because you can cover, I know on Facebook, on a lot of pictures I see, they do have a little thing that says, graphics, whatever, it says something and you have to push, if you want, it says that if you still want to view the photo, you got to touch it and then the picture will come up. I don't know why they don't put those kind of things over those pictures. Now, some of them they do, but on a lot of them, it's just like I said, you're just scrolling through and then bam, it's right in your face and you're like, oh, But anyway, yeah, that is very sad that people do end up deceased and just nobody comes to claim them. Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I saw you sent me something. I'll check it most definitely after we get done here. Yes, Miss Paula, the picture in the so the bigger picture obviously is him when he disappeared at age 12, and that little smaller picture in the top right of the big picture is what did I say, age progressed to, I think, 30. Hold on, I'm gonna have to go back. I don't want to give the wrong age. It's a good thing age progressed to what he could possibly look like at age 37, and he would actually be around 45 this year as of 2025. So yeah, that's an age progression. Yep. Thank you, Mustang is getting in links. Miss Paula wants to know, excuse me, we had pizza tonight. Did he live in the city? I'm assuming, once again, I don't like to assume, but I'm assuming he lives somewhere in Los Angeles. Now, Los Angeles is a big city. I mean, obviously, and it has different, I don't know if you call them neighborhoods. What do you call them? People on the West Coast, what do you call them? Like different suburbs or different sections, just like any big city has. You have like the Beverly Hills and you have this and that, whatever. But I'm assuming he lives somewhere in the Los Angeles area because it said he was last seen traveling to a friend's home in Los Angeles and then he never returned home. It didn't say how he was traveling once again. Was he walking? Did he take a bus? Did he ride a bike? I'm assuming he was alone. So he was only 12, so I'm going to assume that he wasn't driving. So I would assume either walking, riding a bike, maybe he got a ride with another friend, or taking a bus. I don't know. But I'm just going to assume that he did live somewhere in the Los Angeles area. Thank you very much. Yes, please do check out Mind of Monsters. Like I said, she had a lot. It's the first time I'd seen her live in a long time. She says she's been spending a lot of time on TikTok, sharing missing and true crime cases over on TikTok with families. Apparently, a lot of I'm gonna have to. I do have a TikTok account now. I've had it for a few months now. I never post anything over there. Whenever I do get on there, I just share because I know a lot of the other creators and a lot of family loved ones of missing persons are on TikTok, so I had to go over there and share whatever I come across concerning missing persons and cases. But yeah, she was live last night. She popped up live, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go visit Miss Sunshine. Let's see. Miss Paula says, I'm assuming visited or went to. I went to Los Angeles multiple times with my parents. It is very easy to get lost in a city as big as LA is. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, you have all these different suburbs or sections or what neighborhoods, however you want to refer to them. Miss Barbara got lost in her laptop again. Blink twice if you need help. Blink twice if you need help, Miss Barbara. All right, I'm caught up. So that was Jorge. So let me get the next article loading. Okay. So next, we're going to have Kristina Sue Allan. Let me get another drink. So this is Kristina Sue Allan. Kristina has been missing since February 28th, 1976. So this may be, well, no, I think there's actually, I was going to say, I think this might be our oldest case, but I think I do have one that is older. 1976 from Los Angeles. She's a white female. She was 24 years old at the time she went missing. She'll be 74 as of 2025. At the time she went missing, she was 5'7" tall and 120 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. She does have a pin implanted in her lower leg and a pin implanted in her skull with a resulting surgical scar on her forehead. Her ears are pierced. It says she may use the nickname Christy and the last names Capasso and or McClure. She was last known to be wearing jeans and a silver ring with a black onyx stone and carrying only her wallet and her keys. So once again, very little information with Kristina's case. She was last seen in Los Angeles on February 28th, 1976. She and her brother went to a bar in the Venice Beach area. She left the bar alone to walk back to her apartment. She never arrived there. She has never been seen or heard from again. Few details are available in her case. So that's about all the information. She and her brother went to this bar. She left to walk back to the apartment alone. I guess her brother stayed at the bar. Nobody's seen her since. So that is about it. Once again, but if you do have any information, you can call the Los Angeles PD once again at 213-996-1800. I don't think I bookmarked her web sleuth thread, so there may have been something in there. Maybe, I don't know, some little bit of info that wasn't in Charlie Project. She has been submitted to the Doe Network as of 2016. Apparently, they were going to compare her to a particular doe. Let's see if there's any results. I'm assuming there wasn't, or any other bit of information. From his comments, just several people have said they submitted her to the Doe Network as possible matches to UIDs, to unidentified does. She's listed in NamUs. Not seeing any other information. She does have exclusions that weren't matches to those that she was matched to, or not a match to. I'll get it out in a minute. So she has 11 exclusions on NamUs. So that's about all the information I have. I think I did include her NamUs or the Doe Network. No, I included her Doe Network. Once again, all the links to everything that I use are in the description box. So I did include her Doe Network link. I don't think there was anything. Says identifiers, dentals not available, fingerprints unknown, DNA unknown. But they would have to have DNA. Well, no, they get the DNA from the remains to try to match her, to submit her. Yeah, no other information that we didn't already know on that. All righty. So that was all we had on Kristina. Once again, that's better than nothing. Absolutely. So let me get the next one going. Get caught up in your comments quickly one more time. I said that Dan or Miss Barb was lost in her computer, and Dandy says, "Can you be lured out with chocolate chip and peanut butter cookies?" I don't know about Miss Barbara, but I can be lured anywhere for some peanut butter and chocolate chip cookies. Just saying. Just saying. Yep. Miss C's got a search party ready to go find Miss Barbara. Oh, she got back. She's out. Or she's in. She's in or she's out. Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. Oh, goodness gracious. I love you guys. Yeah, Miss Z says, Doc, who is her ride or die, her cohort, says, Doc says, I go down rabbit holes and chase squirrels a lot. I understand. Oh, I do too. I do too. I can go down some rabbit holes. It could be cases, it could be conspiracy theories, it could be anything. UFOs, Bigfoot, whatever. I can go down rabbit holes. Ms. Z says she can be lured out for chocolate chip and peanut butter cookies. Oh, Dandy says all volunteers get all the cookies they need. Yay! Yep, Doc is the tech dude. Tell Doc we said hi. Absolutely. Haven't seen Doc's face, but he has an amazing voice. and he seems like a very very nice fella, very good fella. All right, I think I'm caught up. So this is Helmut Altmann. So Helmut has been missing since October 30th, 1984 from Beverly Hills, California. He is a white male. He was 31 years old when he went missing. He would be 72 years old as of 2025. When he went missing, he was 6'2", 180 pounds, with brown hair and green eyes. It says he has a protruding lower jaw and a receding hairline. No known last clothing. There is a vehicle associated that has not been found, I don't believe. So Helmut is an Austrian national. Almost said Australian. Austrian national. He traveled to Los Angeles in October of 1984, to invest in real estate. He checked into the Regent Beverly Wilshire Hotel in Beverly Hills on October 26th. He told the hotel officials that he planned to go, or that he planned to check out on October 31st. And he was due to return to Austria on November the 2nd. So he was last seen in his hotel room on October 30th. He is believed to have gone sightseeing in the Big Sur area that day. He was driving a white 1984 Chevy Camaro with California license plate 1JDK196. He had rented it from Budget Rent-A-Car. It disappeared with him. It has not been found. His wife reported him as a missing person on November 6th of 1984, a week after he was last seen. Hotel workers checked his room at this time and found his, when they checked the room, they found his passport, clothing, money, and his return plane ticket were all still there. He has never been seen or heard from again. He is believed to be missing under suspicious circumstances. So if you have any information on Helmut's case, you can call the Beverly Hills PD at 310-550-4951. And I think I was able to find just a couple of short articles with when they were asking for help to find him when he went missing. So this first one is from the LA Times from January 1985. Beverly Hills police are seeking public assistance in their search for a 31-year-old resident of West Germany who has not been seen since a few days after he checked into the Beverly Wilshire on October 26th. Helmut Ernest Altmann, who's described as 6 feet 2 inches, weighing 180 pounds, with thinning brown hair and green eyes, was allegedly interested in investing in real estate in Southern California, according to police. He was expected to return to his Munich home on November 2nd. This is what his wife told the Beverly Hills police. Detectives investigating the disappearance found all of his property, once again his clothes, passport, his return airplane ticket, still in his hotel room. It is thought, once again, that he may have traveled to the Big Sur area. He rented the budget rental car, the 1984 white Chevy Camaro, which is still missing. So this is back in 85. So this name and phone number is probably not good, not any good anymore. So we had that one. And I think the other one had a few. Maybe a comment or something from his wife. Or maybe not. This article is from, once again, January of 85. I don't think it has anything different. Police are searching for a Munich businessman who failed to return home 2 months ago from a real estate investment trip to California. Lieutenant Bill Hunt said Helmut Altmann, 31, an Austrian national who owns a meatpacking company in West Germany, was last seen on October 30th, 4 days after he checked into the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. His wife called Beverly Hills police when he failed to return home as scheduled on November 2nd. Once again, when the officers went to the hotel room, they found all his belongings still in the room, and the only thing missing was he and the rental car. So that is all the information. So I know I've heard of the Big Sur area of California. Is it down around the coast, the beach? I don't know what kind of terrain it is. If anybody who lives in that area happens to know that area, I mean, is it possible that he could have driven somewhere into some water, or been out walking and fallen into some water, or into any crevices or outcroppings or anything of that nature? Like I said, I have a little bit of an idea what the Big Sur area is, but I'm not, I don't know. Or, I mean, it could be, it could have been something nefarious, because they did say in the Trolley Project information that he is missing under suspicious circumstances. So let me go back and make sure. Oh, let me go to the right tab so I won't kick myself out of StreamYard. Come on, there they are. Thought my bookmarks disappeared. Yeah, it says he is believed to be missing under suspicious circumstances. So that's interesting. I don't know what. Apparently, law enforcement who's investigating, or who were investigating at the time, found something that they didn't. Oh, Ms. Z talking about Doc says he's bashful. Then why is he not named after Bashful and Doc? Anyway, he's bashful. I married him for his looks, not his brains, and then he turned out to be the smartest man I know. I won the lottery. Keep him hidden so no one steals him. You're a smart woman. You're a smart woman. I love that. I love that. Oh, anyway. Miss Barbara, you still disappearing and then reappearing? Okay, Ms. Z says, Helmut's case sounds like maybe they need to check some water areas where him and the car could be together. See, that's what I was thinking. Especially, like I said, I have in my mind's eye what the Big Sur area is. I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of water around there, but yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because that's the first thing I think of is when the person and the vehicle that they were in both disappear. Because in a lot of them, they do find the vehicle. But in cases where they don't find the vehicle, I always think, did they accidentally drive into water? Did they accidentally drive off a cliff? I mean, you know what I'm saying. Into a ravine or a crevice and they just haven't found them. That's the first thing I always think of. So, yep, Dandy says not even the car has been found. Makes me wonder if there was an accident and he's in water. Lots of people are found in that way. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know what DB is. Miss Barbara was thinking the same. Yeah, like I said, I automatically, when the vehicle goes missing with the person, I'm like, check the water, check bodies of water, always. Or like I said, depending on the terrain, if there's ravines, crevices, cliffs, anywhere that they could have accidentally drove, into, over, most definitely need to be checked. And I'm sure they did probably check them. Absolutely. Z says, yes, Big Sur has a lot of places to go into the water with the car. So that would be, once again, I'm not state, for the record, anything, everybody's thoughts, opinions are our own, just from trying to think logically with the information that we have, where we never state anything as fact. We encourage everybody to research any case, do your own research, form your own opinions. But yeah, that would be first on my list of possibilities, is that maybe in the water somewhere, just accidentally. Especially, I'm assuming that he probably wasn't familiar with the area. Once again, I'm just assuming. I don't know. But just from the wording, this might possibly be the first time that he had been there. I don't know. He had traveled there to supposedly to invest in the real estate. So I'm going to assume maybe either it's the first time he was there or he hadn't been there very often. Miss Barbara says she's thinking the same thing, water. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Yep, Dandy sounds like me now. Oh, Dandy says all missing cases are suspicious. In my opinion, people don't just vanish. Absolutely, absolutely. I consider all missing persons cases suspicious, unless or until we find out they get in touch with somebody and say, "Hey, I'm fine. I left of my own accord," and it's an adult. I'm fine and dandy. I just wanted to leave. Okay, good. At least we, But unless that happens, I'm suspicious. Miss Barbara, poor Barbara, she's still fighting with the laptop. I'm so sorry, ma'am. I fight with this one too. Although tonight is doing well. I probably should not have said that because it's gonna go on the crapper now. Miss C says, yes, Big Sur is along the PCH, Pacific Coast Highway. Beautiful, but close to the Pacific Ocean. Yeah. So like I said, if I was a betting person, my top on, top of my list is possibly went in the water. Possibly went in the water. So sad. So sad. Ms. Paula says, what did he do for a living? I think that one of the articles I read that back in Austria, he owned a meat packing company. I believe is what it said. And he had come to California, to Los Angeles to invest in real estate. So I guess he was wanting to branch out. I don't know. But I think that article said that in Austria, he owned a meat packing company, and then he came to Los Angeles to invest in real estate. Not patriotism. Thank you so much for being here. Good to see you. Who's in trouble now? Miss Barb says somebody's in trouble. Paula said she was up there once in the Big Sur. I've not been to California. Oh, I almost went to California. We were in, where were we at? This one went to Las Vegas when Echoes and Mrs. Echoes got married. On our way back, we were going to, I think, just cross over very quickly. You could go basically across the street and cross over, and you would be in in California to say, "Hey, we've been in California." Yeah, we got literally stuck in a parking lot. I don't even remember where we were at. Got stuck. We were trying to turn around because we missed the turn that we were supposed to go to actually go to California and then come back. And it was in this giant. There was like a casino and all these other things in this giant parking lot, and there was like a traffic jam, and we were almost said a bad word, no shite. We were stuck there. It took us like an hour or more to get out of that freaking parking lot. It was, I don't know. I still have nightmares about that. Needless to say, we didn't make it to California. Anyway, had a squirrel moment there. Paula says, is it possible he could have ticked off the wrong person? Possibly. Anything is possible, once again, with such little information. Possible, but like I said, my bet would be, just my opinion, is that it's something accidental happened. Possibly driving and going into the water or over a ravine, into the water. Miss Z is a San Diego girl. Oh, that's right. You do live in California, don't you? But I do know you said you lived for a while. I don't know how long it's been in Louisiana, right? Miss Barb says, quickly, I ran away and went to San Diego and lived on Missouri Street. What's the chance of that? Yeah, now you're in Missouri. All right, I'm gonna have to do. Dandy says it's been over a year since Emma Baum. It's already been a year for that case. The pregnant 24-year-old went missing in Gary, Indiana. She's still not been located. Yeah, I remember that case. I think I did a video on her. It's already been a year. I'm gonna have to do a follow-up video. Yep, I remember that case. I'm pretty sure I did a video on for her. All right, I think I'm caught up. My phone is beeping at me. I can hear it in my why is my phone beeping? Anyway, Z says almost everything west of the Mississippi River, Louisiana loved it, but now yeah, you're in Texas now, but now it's in Texas. So we're neighbors. If you're in Texas, we're neighbors. I'm in Arkansas. I like Louisiana. I visited, been to Shreveport, Bossier City a ton of times for Mardi Gras. Been down to Lafayette once. Been to New Orleans once. Spent the night there. Waiting. The next day is when our cruise left out of New Orleans. So I spent the night in New Orleans. Spent a couple hours down on Bourbon Street. That was enough for me. I had a hurricane, and then I was ready to go back to the hotel and pass out and go to sleep. All right. So next we have Rebecca. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Rebecca Arellanosa. Let me get her information up. There it is. Get another drink. So this is Rebecca. Rebecca Arellanosa. Once again, I apologize. I mean, no disrespect if I pronounced that wrong. So Rebecca has been missing since May 5th of 2001 from Los Angeles. She was just 22 years old when she went missing. She'll be 46 years old as of 2025. At the time she went missing, she was 5'3" tall, 120 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. She has moles on her left cheek and near her right eye. Her nicknames are Becky and or Monica. She is of Filipino descent. So I don't think there is a lot of information. I think this is all the information we have. Once again, it's better than nothing. So Rebecca was last seen in Los Angeles on May 5th, 2001. She was in the 10700 block of Lawler Street at the time of her disappearance. She has never been seen or heard from again. Authorities stated that she vanished under what they call unusual circumstances, and her case remains unsolved. And just check one more time. Nope. I couldn't. On this one, there was not even a web sleuth thread. And usually on webs, if you can't find anything on the missing person anywhere else, at least on web sleuths, they at least have a thread with at least if they're in the Doe Network or NamUs or NCMEC or Charlie Project information. She did not even have a thread on web sleuths. So this is what we got. I don't think, I'm trying to think if she was even in that list I don't think I was able even able to find if she was in Doe Network or NamUs. Let me try once again. I might have forgotten to include the links. If I can spell her name right. I'll put Los Angeles because I got different that's something from LAPD online. So she is on the LAPD online.org. See if there's anything. So once again, she's been missing since May 5th, 2001. 22 years old when she went missing. Filipino descent. 5'3", 120. Black hair, brown eyes. So she was last seen on May 5th on the 10700 block of Lawler Street in Los Angeles. She disappeared under unusual circumstances. She has short black straight hair, olive complexion, with a mole near her right eye and a mole on her left cheek. It says her mental and physical condition is described as good. She also uses also known as Monica or Becky, no known clothing description. So that's what they had on LAPD online. So they do say that she was in good physical and mental condition health-wise, which is good. I mean, oh, she is in the Doe Network, if it'll come up. Probably won't have any different information. Yeah, she's in the Doe Network. Dental's not available, fingerprints not available, DNA not available. Clothing unknown, jewelry unknown, personal items unknown. It's like, where do they go to? I mean, it's like Dandy said, people, we say it's just like they vanish into thin air, but we know they don't just vanish into thin air. Anyway, so she's in Doe Network. She's on the LAPD online website. She's on the San Fernando Valley News, missing persons of SFV, San Fernando Valley. Oh, that's an article about a lot of missing, goodness, a lot of missing persons. When was this article from? 2023. Wow. It's a big list of names. Sad. She's on the california.gov website. So at least she's on some websites and some databases. I mean, a lot of these missing aren't even on, or not on Doe Network, not on NamUs, not even listed. Maybe through the like this I forgot what it was. California.gov. She's on there. So anyway, at least she is in some databases and on some websites. That's always a good thing. Get caught up in those comments once again, and then we'll go to the next one. Let's see. Yep, GP says it's terrible how all these people are missing. I know. Miss Barb says this is hard to hear, all the sadness. I know. Dandy says there are a lot of brokenhearted people missing their friends and family, praying that they're all found soon. Amen. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let me get the next one up. So this one has a little, oh, I got to advance my slide. So this is Jonathan Aujay. This one is perplexing, very perplexing. And it's got possibly some, well, I'll read it, but, so this is, oh, what did I do? Almost fell off the porch, as Sunshine would say. So this is Jonathan Aujay. And I had to look up, that is how you pronounce it. I had to look it up. We'll get over to the right tab. So Jonathan has been missing since June 11th, 1998 from the Angeles National Forest, California. He's a white male. He was 38 years old. When he went missing, he would be 66 years old as of 2025. The time he went missing, he was 6 foot tall, 165 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. His nicknames are John and Aujay. He has a United States Army Eagle emblem tattooed on his upper left arm, and the word SEB inside a triangle tattooed on his upper right arm. He was last known to be wearing a light colored t-shirt, olive green shorts with pockets, black crew socks, hiking boots, a Casio running watch, a blue and white or green and white baseball cap, and black sunglasses with oval frames. He was carrying a forest green JanSport day pack. So Jonathan had the day off from work and went for a day hike in the Devil's Punch Bowl area of the Angeles National Forest on June 11th, 1998. He never returned. It says the Devil's Punch Bowl. That's a fantastic name, by the way. So the Devil's Punch Bowl is a remote park on the north slope of the San Gabriel Mountains. Jonathan did have a reputation as a skilled outdoorsman and an experienced hiker who hiked in the San Gabriel Mountains about once a week. He was also a long-distance runner who ran daily, and he had completed 6 50-mile ultra marathons. That makes me tired just thinking about it. Wow. So he had completed, he was a skilled outdoorsman, experienced hiker. He hiked in the mountains once a week. He had completed 6 50-mile ultra marathons. So he was a former paratrooper. That would explain a lot of it then. He was a former paratrooper in the U.S. Army's Special Forces Unit. He was and then he was a deputy at the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department at the time of his disappearance. So he was employed as a law enforcement officer when he disappeared. He had been employed with the department for 15 years by 1998. He is described as a conscientious employee. He worked nights. He rarely called in sick or took any vacation time, any days off. On the day of his disappearance, early into his hike, Jonathan encountered a teacher with a class of children who were on a field trip. He stopped to talk to them and said that he planned to go to the summit of Mount Baden-Powell, which is a 9,400 foot tall mountain, which was 20 miles away. So he was going to hike, run, walk 20 miles and go to the summit of this Mount Baden-Powell. And then said he wanted to return by sunset. So over the next several hours, 2 witnesses saw a man fitting his description jogging towards the mountain. The last sighting of Jonathan was at around 6 p.m. Someone saw him heading towards the parking lot. So I'm assuming maybe the parking lot, like he had gone, made it the 20 miles and back to the, and was in the parking lot where he had parked to get ready to go home or wherever he was going. So around 6 p.m., someone saw him heading towards the parking lot. Hopefully this has nothing to do with this case, but not long after he was seen in the parking lot, area residents heard a single gunshot in the vicinity. Once again, it could have absolutely nothing to do with this case. I don't know, like the hunting situation in that area, but usually in national forests, you're not allowed to hunt. At least on the land, designated land. So they heard the single gunshot in the vicinity. He never returned home, has never been seen or heard from again. His wife reported him missing at 11 p.m. and police found his truck in the parking lot and began a search at 11:30 p.m. An extensive search involving 2 helicopters, 30 people, and at least 2 bloodhounds failed to find any trace of him other than some footprints in the snow near Mount Baden-Powell. And they searched for a week. After a week, the search was called off. He left behind his wife of 12 years. They were high school sweethearts. They did have a 5-year-old daughter. It just breaks my heart. According to his wife, a month before his disappearance, Jonathan had told her that he wanted a divorce. His sister stated that he was unhappy living in Los Angeles County and that he wanted to move into the mountains or move to the mountains. And so this is where it gets kind of interesting, and I think I do have an article that may go into this a little bit. For unspecified reasons, investigators believed that something called Operation Silent Thunder, which was a 2-year undercover particular illegal substance operation, took place in the Antelope Valley area, might have something to do, or they say might uncover evidence about Jonathan's disappearance. But no clues were found, though, apparently in whatever they were investigating with this Operation Silent Thunder. But they say no clues were found. He remains missing, and his case remains unsolved. So if you do have any information, you can call the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department at 323-890-5500. So like I said, I think I did find an article or 2 or 3 articles, but I'm not going to, just short articles. And I think one of them did mention this Operation Silent Thunder and some hinky stuff that might have been going on with it. And or the, where did it say he worked for the Los Angeles County Police? The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, maybe some hinky stuff going on there. Let me find the first one. So the first one is from LOSAngelesMagazine.com. The deputy who disappeared is from October 2015. So on the morning of June 11th, 1998, Jonathan Aujay pulled his white Ford pickup into Devil's Punch Bowl natural area, 60 miles northeast of downtown LA in the Antelope Valley. It was a Thursday, and Jonathan had the day off from his job as a canine unit dog handler with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. At around 11:45 p.m., he spread a sunshade across his windshield and locked his truck, which he had filled at a gas station en route to the park from his Palmdale home. He slung his day pack over his shoulder, and he set out for a run. He had told his wife, Deborah, that he would be home by dark. Before his swearing in as a deputy 18 years earlier, Aujay, Jonathan had been a paratrooper in the Army's Special Forces unit. At 38, he still wore his brown hair in the military buzz cut. I think you can see it there I think it's even in his uniform in the picture. He had a tattoo of the U.S. Army Eagle on his left bicep. On the right one, he had an old tattoo of Yosemite Sam. It had been covered with the letters SEB. An elite unit, the Special Enforcement Bureau, handles SWAT and canine operations for the Sheriff's Department. They negotiate hostage situations. I can't talk tonight as usual. They serve warrants on sometimes volatile suspects, among other tasks. Jonathan worked nights so that he could be in the thick of the action, and he was reliable and conscientious, seldom calling in sick or using his vacation time. Because of the nature of the job, the SEB attracts the most physically fit deputies. 6 feet tall and lean, Aujay was an avid runner and an experienced outdoorsman. He regularly escaped to the Sierra on the weekends for hiking and camping trips, and he had staged more than 10 climbing expeditions on Mount Whitney, which is the highest peak in the contiguous, I hope I pronounced that right, contiguous United States. Once again, it just makes me tired reading that. As a member of the SEB running team, he competed against other local law enforcement agencies. He also ran in individual races. The previous weekend, he and a few SEB deputies had completed a 50-mile ultra marathon, which once again was the 6th one that he had completed. 2 weeks from when he disappeared, he had planned to be grinding it out at the Western States 100-mile endurance run, which is a 20-plus hour trek through steep mountain terrain in Northern California. The run was a long-held dream, and he had lined up a support crew to help with logistical challenges during the event. In the 6 months since he had qualified for the race, Aujay had been going on daily runs, including trips a couple of times a month to the Punch Bowl. It was an area he knew well, having spent countless hours over the years hiking and running its trail network through a desert landscape punctuated by sandstone rock formations and a deep canyon. I wonder if he accidentally fell. I mean, I don't know how close he would have been running to a canyon. Anyway, so early into his outing on this day, Aujay came across a teacher with a group of kids whose classroom he had recently visited with his canine partner, a Belgian Malinois, I always pronounce that wrong, Malinois shepherd named Bosco. Aujay stopped to talk, enthusiastically describing his route to the summit of 9,400-foot Mount Baden-Powell, which was 20 miles away. He said he would be back around sunset. Then he continued running. Get past the ads. Over the next several hours, 2 employees of a camp along the trail saw a man who fit Aujay's description jogging in the direction of Baden-Powell. At 6 that evening, a third camp employee spotted a man with a green pack heading towards the parking lot. Not long after that sighting, a nearby resident told a park employee that he heard a single gunshot in the vicinity of the Punch Bowl. The sun set. Jonathan did not return home. At 11 p.m., Deborah, his wife, reported him missing to the Palmdale Sheriff's Station. She said a pair of deputies drove to the Punch Bowl. They discovered the truck. They preserved it as a possible crime scene and called for the department search and rescue squad, which was deployed at 11:30 that night. The next day, sorry, my back's hurting. The next day, searchers from the SEB joined the effort, as did 3 more search and rescue groups, the K-9 unit, and the Sheriff's Emergency Services detail. His former partner on the SWAT team, David Rathbun, joined the search, assuming that Aujay would reappear quickly. He said he remembered thinking, John was tough as nails. They'll find him. They'll bring him out. He'll probably just have a sprained or broken ankle. Some of Jonathan's family members were confident that he would be able to withstand the harsh desert. His father-in-law recalled how Jonathan had once scared off a 500-pound black bear. Oh, my goodness. When the 2 were camping in the Sierra. But when Jonathan didn't come limping from the wilderness within the first 24 hours, says Rathbun, he says, quote, "We got pretty antsy." So on the 3rd day, searchers from as far away as Malibu were participating, along with those from the nearby Air Force Base. An Army Black Hawk helicopter scanned the area around Mount Baden-Powell, while additional helicopters, horses, ATVs, thermal imaging equipment, infrared technology were all deployed to scour the Punch Bowl's ravines and crevices. So I was asking earlier, or mentioned earlier, if he was running, if it, they said if he could possibly fall in, which is still possible, that he fell into a ravine or a crevice. But you would think with all that equipment and the infrared and everything, thermal imaging, infrared. But then again, I mean, you look at, in the grand scheme of things, even a person as big as he was, 6 foot tall and whatever, if you fall down a big enough crevice or a big enough hole, they might not necessarily, even with the best equipment, be able to see you. So searchers were airlifted to mountaintops and to some of the mines, so there were mines too, dotting the landscape. An ultra marathoner named Vicky, whom Aujay had grown close to in recent months. No, I'm not gonna go there. Said to investigators that Aujay had told her he planned to go on an overnight walkabout in the wilderness, accompanied by a deputy friend of Aujay's. She spent the night prowling the punch bowl, calling for him. So after a week, an SEB lieutenant opened Aujay's truck and removed his badge and wallet, according to the official log. Deputies drove the truck back to Aujay's Palmdale house. So I'm assuming, because they said they were going to preserve it to be processed just in case something nefarious happened. So deputies drove the truck back to Aujay's Palmdale house. Days before the Western States 100, a friend handed Aujay's race packet over to investigators. Deputies thought he might show up to run, but he never did. It's make sure I didn't skip something. So it's the not knowing, the proverbial lack of closure that makes a missing person case so difficult, at least for people left behind. Are they still here? Are they deceased? Do they suffer? Was it voluntary? If so, why? Will they come back? All questions that, people in this situation would ask. Theories and suspicions stand in for evidence and hard facts of a homicide. Self-harm was an abandonment. Easy for me to say. In this way, the story of John Aujay's disappearance is like so many others. The questions linger and the pain only fades into the background, never fully relenting. Limbo becomes the norm, but it's not often that a member of law enforcement vaporizes, or as in disappears, or that the circumstances surrounding his case create divisions and disagreements among people who have spent their careers honing their ability to remain objective in their work. A few of Jonathan's friends thought he had surreptitiously returned to the military for a covert assignment. There was speculation that he might have dropped out and moved to Alaska, a place that he had fantasized about living in. And it did mention, I think, in the Charlie Project, that his sister had said that he was unhappy living in Los Angeles. He wanted to move to the mountains. Sorry, I lost my place. So Aujay's younger sister, Jan, decided that he had plans. Now, this was just her thinking. So his younger sister, Jan, decided that he had plans to flee, stashing money, obtaining a new identity, and staging his disappearance. She knew her brother was increasingly miserable living in the Antelope Valley. He was a loner who desperately wanted to move to the mountains for better access to hiking and fishing. The last time she saw him was at a family wedding the month before he disappeared. She said, quote, "He was ready to go. He was checked out. He was done," end quote. Once again, this is according to her, to his sister. Though his sister was not aware at the time, Jonathan and his wife had been discussing divorce. The couple had been married for 12 years. They had a 5-year-old daughter named Chloe. A month before he left his home for the last time, Jonathan had told Deborah he thought they should go their separate ways. He had packed his running medals as well as climbing and hiking memorabilia that had been on the walls of a spare room, and returned a family heirloom bookshelf to his in-laws. He also gave a gold necklace of his father's to Davida, who was the runner with whom he was starting a relationship. So that was the female, because it said there was a female that he had something to the effect they had been spending some time together. So did all of that merely signal the end of his marriage, or was he wrapping up his affairs as people do when they are basically planning self-harm? The day before his disappearance, the Aujays had attended their first therapy session with the sheriff's department psychologist. They said it had not gone well, but Deborah did not consider John unstable. She says, quote, "I thought he was just going through a rough time. I thought he would be okay." The therapist named Elizabeth asked if either was contemplating self-harm. According to Deborah, they both said no. While the search was ongoing, White told investigators that John did not have any self-harm ideations. According to legal documents, though she reversed her opinion several years later, saying that she did believe that he took his own life. So the last thing that Deborah remembers John saying the morning of the punch roll run, the day that he disappeared, was, quote, "Have a nice life," end quote. Quote, tell Chloe I love her, end quote. So to her, those words initially pointed to a man exiting his marriage. In fact, her first call the night that he went missing was to a private investigator. She wanted to find out whether John was cheating on her, but she abandoned that line of inquiry after learning that it would cost her $500 for this private investigator apparently to investigate. Soon she began to think her husband's goodbye seemed like that of a man planning to take his own life. In retrospect, she thought that John had been acting differently. She said there had been a cold, intense look in his eyes the final time that she saw him, and a month before, during an argument about the relationship. She said, this is all according to her, she says that he had held a loaded firearm to his temple as he drove away and said, quote, "What do you want me to do? Kill myself," end quote. So shocked, Deborah says she burst into tears in the passenger seat. Family members find it hard to believe that he would take his own life, if for no other reason than his bond with Chloe. They said that taking his own life seemed unlikely for a man with such a strong sense of honor and dignity. The hours of physical training he logged in his spare time were in order to stay in optimal shape for his job. He believed it was his duty to give 110% of himself to the department. And out of respect for his position, he polished his sheriff's badge and boots twice a week. His brother Joe says of the self-harm ruling, quote, I never believed it for a minute. The guy had too much pride. I would put that on the back burner and rule that out, end quote. So Scott, who's a close friend who frequently went on ride-alongs with John, felt the deputy simply had no reason to take his own life. He says, he had a zest for life. Still grieving, he recalled how his friends seemed happy about the new relationship he was starting with Davida. Apparently, she passed away in 2010, and the friend Scott passed away this past summer. So whenever this article was written, both from health-related causes. So Jonathan hoped to move in with her and had requested she submit to an HIV test before the two consummated their relationship. Interesting. Also skeptical of the self-harm theory is Mike Bauer. He is a retired LASD captain living in Idaho who has devoted the past decade to hunting down new leads in Jonathan's mystery. Bauer agrees with family members it does not make sense to him that a survivalist would end his own life. He says, quote, that is not what survivalists do, end quote, or they survive. Instead, Bauer and several others from law enforcement think that it was a homicide. So it goes on. It says, when you're part of a search and rescue crew, there are a set of protocols to follow. You help preserve a crime scene around the missing person's car. You set up a command post. You start asking questions. You know, is this person a fighter? Is he a survivor? How would he react in the environment that he's in? You hang up a map. You draw, lines around an area. Estimate how far he could have gone. Then you consider all the trails, the hazards before you dispatch people to walk those trails. Your goal is to try and locate footprints, a piece of clothing, any sign of the person you're looking for. Find something, and you can, when you find something, let's say, then you can shrink the search area. But the problem, let's say in Jonathan's case, was that they had not found anything at all except for a few unidentified footprints near Baden Powell, which was the mountain he was going to go climb that was 20 miles away. With an outdoorsman like him, he'd be able to handle such variables as a change in the weather, but he might push deeper into the woods and tackle more extreme terrain than a casual hiker would. There are times when the person's background, whether it's military training or possessing backcountry skills, can be a liability. Deputy Randall Heberly insists that when he arrived at the Punch Bowl after John was reported missing, he spotted a snub-nosed .38 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver on the center console of the truck. He said this alarmed him. He said, quote, no deputy back then would leave their gun visible, end quote. See, I agree with that. You don't leave, even just normal folk that has a gun permit, you never leave it out in the open. Never. So the chance that a passerby might see it, break into the vehicle, and use the gun to commit a crime was too high. Heberly says, quote, it's not just a red flag, it is full-on fireworks, 4th of July, end quote. He says he reported the gun to others at the site, but the official missing persons flyer stated that Jonathan was likely carrying the firearm. Dave Sauer, who was the sergeant who led the search, said, quote, my recollection is that we could not account for his revolver, end quote. After learning from John's friends that he did not typically run with his firearm, Sauer began to question whether there had even been a jog to the mountain. He says, quote, I don't think that's what he was going to do. Sauer and other investigators determined that distress over his crumbling marriage likely prompted Jonathan to turn the firearm on himself, a theory Sauer announced the following week to searchers assembled at the Punch Bowl. I know this is a long article, guys. We're going to get through it. If I can get past the ads. Rathbun recalls, quote, they said, well, it's self-harm. Let's all go home, end quote. The lack of any tangible clues was mystifying. He says, quote, unless we had a note and some physical evidence, I don't remember us ever stopping a search and declaring it self-harm in 6 days. when we inquired about the evidence, because obviously you want to know, well, how did you decide my ex-partner, took his own life? It wasn't physical evidence, it was circumstantial. The decision made no sense to Rathbun, who, along with others in the department, continued to look for Jonathan for months after the official search ended, though Rathbun interpreted Aujay's, quote, hard, crusty surface as a reflection of his rabid devotion to his job. Various former colleagues found him downright abrasive and thought that he probably provoked his own demise. Rathbun said, quote, he was very, very locked into his beliefs, his morals, and his ethics. If you crossed him, he would just tell you right to your face. I'm sure he annoyed some people, and other deputies might describe him as an a-hole because he was about as diplomatic as a train wreck. If he had something to say to you, he did not hold back, end quote. So apparently that even applied to supervisors. In 1996, a sergeant scolded him for failing to control Bosco, which was his canine, saying, quote, if Bosco bit him, he would kill me first, then the dog. Jonathan wrote in his journal. He says, quote, I told him I would work the LA area where they need real police dogs and deputies approve. He did not socialize with co-workers outside from his running mates, and his hard-nosed demeanor was intensified by his booming baritone voice. According to a deputy friend, quote, he was excellent at his job, but as a person, they didn't like him because he was standoffish. He was like, hey, this is work. You're not in my personal life. Bye-bye, bye-bye. So Jonathan's sister Jan remembers riding with him in the bus to summer camp when they were kids. An older boy demanded that they relinquish their seat, but John she said John wasn't going to give his seat up for anything. The guy threatened to throw him off a mountain, but he did not budge. He did not talk about it later either. It did not scare him, even at a young age. So it goes into his time when he was, I'm not going to read, this is getting very long. So talking about him being, his personality suited him well as a sharpshooter in the early 1990s. Just talking about his Bosco, his dog, his partner, canine partner. Just trying to get back down to, okay, so I know there's something in here about the this Operation Silent, whatever it was. Okay, so it said 6 meth cells, cells, have proliferated in the valley, operating within one of the largest substance rings in the Southwest. They produced up to 97% pure, what they call biker meth, in huge quantities that fetched $30,000 to $40,000 per pound in Utah, Arizona, and Nevada. Among them were members of various motorcycle clubs who used the area's vast empty spaces for making the substance. I'm assuming this has to do with this Operation Silent Thunder. Okay, so there were rumors circulating within the Antelope Valley stations that deputies were warning these people who were making the substance of pending drug bust. This was not the first time the department had struggled to police itself. In the early 1990s, a 5-year internal investigation led to the indictment of 35 deputies who had stolen millions of dollars from dealers. FBI video surveillance captured a sergeant and 2 narcotics detectives taking $30,000 from a dealer's hotel room. A detective assigned to an elite narcotics team was arrested for hiding $150,000, which was stolen by a colleague. The sheriff back then, Sherman Block, had been the one to call in the FBI to help root out the corruption. But these were different times. Lee Baca had taken the helm of the LASD, and the culture of the organization was changing. One of the more remarkable interactions Baca's administration would have with the FBI years later would be when its deputies showed up to an FBI agent's home and threatened to arrest her. Wow. As one LASD deputy put it, quote, "That's not a fight you're going to win." So a few days after Jonathan vanished, a woman with ties to the Antelope Valley's outlaw bikers called the sheriff's department to report that she had heard that that Jonathan had come across a lab and quote, was taken care of. Then a tip came in from an informant who said a biker dealer claimed that after the deputy discovered something on his jog, he, quote, he was going to be a hero and was taken care of before, quote, being put into a hole. Once homicide detective Larry Brandenburg began investigating the case in early 2000, 9 more people connected to this community shared similar stories. Several had heard that a deputy named Rick was involved in the disappearance. According to legal documents and testimony, he was said to have been linked to 4 known cookers and dealers. He was the resident deputy of the Pear Blossom area, the sole patrolman of a region that is inhabited by 7,000 to 10,000 people and encompasses the Devil's Punch Bowl. And although the park was just 6 miles from this deputy's house, he never joined the search that week. Interesting. So Brandenburg had begun working the case after finding flaws with the initial missing persons inquiry. He grew frustrated that it had not received the homicide department's full scrutiny and investigative expertise. He said, quote, "They didn't do a thorough investigation. Moreover," he says, "when the homicide department classified it in its case management system as a missing person with a possible self-harm, a so-called homicide team was never assigned to disseminate the evidence and develop new leads as it should have been." Brandenburg learned of a large underground lab that had been on property adjacent to the Punch Bowl, not far from where Jonathan was last seen. And he went up in a helicopter to survey the terrain with an officer who used to run the trails with Jonathan. Brandenburg said, quote, "The southeast side of the property drops directly down into the Devil's Punch Bowl Park. He believes this might be the lab that Jonathan was said to have encountered during his jog or walk to the Mount Baden-Powell. As he collected more evidence, he felt he had probable cause to obtain a warrant for this other deputy's phone and financial records, and to seek permission to install a tracking device on the deputy's patrol cruiser. He says, "I believe that this deputy and some other unidentified individuals took the life of Jonathan to prevent him from arresting them or exposing their criminal enterprise." The detective would write in a search warrant affidavit, adding that he spoke with an FBI agent who had received similar information from sources concerning the possible homicide of Jonathan. So now this other deputy was the top suspect in a homicide investigation. Before Brandenburg could get the search warrant from a judge, he needed to present it to the district attorney's office and then have his boss, the captain of the homicide bureau, sign off. The meeting with his boss did not go well. Brandenburg testified, quote, "He began yelling at me. He said, 'I'm ordering you. You will not take this search warrant to a judge.' and if you do, you will not work here any longer, end quote. And then apparently the captain threw the document in his bottom desk drawer, and that was that. So outraged, Brandenburg appealed to the chief of the detective division and the commander in the homicide bureau in a meeting at the LASD, everything jumped, LASD headquarters in Monterey Park, describing his boss's behavior and the evidence against this other deputy. Soon after, a fellow homicide detective named Joe was ordered to visit Brandenburg's house to collect his case records. And just like that, the investigation into Jonathan's possible homicide was reassigned to Holmes. So it was taken away from Brandenburg. So Brandenburg would testify that he overheard the homicide captain say to Holmes, quote, "Take care of me on this," end quote. So if all this is true, what we're reading, and this is from sworn testimony, wow. So whenever this article was written, it says this past July, I met Deborah Aujay in Marie Kerr Park in Palmdale. He said there's a softball game in progress. I'm trying to see if this has anything to do with. So it says she and Jonathan shared close to the home that she and Jonathan shared for 11 years. When Deborah called him out of the blue from a payphone after a 3-year breakup, he said that he had been thinking about her too. They married 5 months later. Deborah worked as a receptionist, but she quit before becoming pregnant. Has not been employed since. Partly, she says, because she suffers from severe obsessive compulsive disorder. She and Chloe lived in the house on their own for a year after Jonathan's disappearance. Because Jonathan's body was never found, Deborah had to wait 5 years to receive his death certificate, and only then could she access her husband's contributions to his retirement account. So, unable to pay the bills, they moved in with her parents, who had relocated to Palmdale from Downey a few years earlier. By 2013, her parents had both passed away. The money she was receiving each month in Social Security disability payments for her OCD, which was around $950 a month, was not enough to cover the mortgage. So she began living in her white Pontiac Grand Prix with her Boston Terrier, Carlton. Chloe, who was 20 then, by that time, moved to Los Angeles to live with her boyfriend and his mother. Just trying to see. Deborah said she and her daughter, Chloe, talk frequently by phone. She says Chloe's memories of her father are faint. Until Chloe was 15 or 18, she did not question the story that she had grown up with, that her dad had just simply vanished. But once she began to recognize there was a gaping hole in her life, she became angry. She began to believe that her father must have been the victim of a homicide, though she is uncertain of precisely how or why. Just reading. I'm just seeing if there's anything else. So apparently Deborah, the wife, still maintains that Jonathan must have taken his own life. The lack of evidence has left her repeatedly toggling back to the possibility that he's still alive. Early on, she consulted psychics looking for answers. One told her that Jonathan was deceased. 3 said that he was living in another state. If he did leave, Deborah thinks that Alaska was his destination. He had tried to persuade her to move with him to an Alaskan town accessible only by airplane, and he had sent away for real estate listings she was not interested, she says, in any way. She didn't want to go to Alaska. Has information, then it goes into okay, so now I was going to go into a little bit about this Operation Silent Thunder. So, struggling to manage this meth scourge in the Antelope Valley, but unable to trust some of its deputies, the LASD called the DEA to set up a joint task force with the Sheriff's Department in the spring of 2000. They dubbed it Operation Silent Thunder. It was composed of several DEA agents and co-led by a sheriff's deputy named Darren Hager and supervised by LASD Lieutenant Ron Shreves. As the task force began to infiltrate the cartels, it set up wiretaps to listen in on phone conversations between cell members, and it established a network of confidential informants, several offering information about this deputy that they were talking about earlier. There were claims that he allegedly made frequent visits to a dealer who worked at a Chevron station, and that the two men once talked while 3 pounds of M sat in plain sight on the front seat of the dealer's car. And in an interview led by the task force, an informant said of this deputy, quote, "I'm not going to talk about him and end up deceased," end quote. The investigators noted a total of 50 suspicious incidents involving deputies, multiple deputies from the wiretaps and informants. They observed transgressions firsthand, such as when a deputy provided false information to the task force in an apparent effort to protect a dealer. Others were alleged to have tipped off dealers about major raids. Then there was the deputy whose wife had ties to the largest volume dealer in the Antelope Valley. Soon after he left for work, agents raided his home, finding substances on a table and an entire wall papered in counterfeit $20 bills. Oh my gosh. This is just like, you can't make this stuff up. It's like truth is stranger than fiction. New leads cropped up regarding Jonathan as well. A woman claimed to know where his body was buried. A man contacted the task force saying he was present when Jonathan was murdered. A third person reported seeing Jonathan return to his truck in the Devil's Punch Bowl parking lot at dusk before walking back out with his backpack in the direction of two armed bikers. Then these witnesses supposedly heard screaming. According to court testimony by task force members, however, it did not pursue the leads concerning deputy misconduct, or for that matter, Jonathan. The DEA and LASD had agreed at the outset of the 18-month operation that the department would handle anything that turned up regarding deputy misconduct. But when the task force tried to brief the sheriff's detective on its Jonathan-related findings so that the department could follow up on them, the Antelope Valley homicide captain, the same man who had blocked the Brandenburg, the one who was investigating the search warrant for this other deputies, denied them a meeting, so they refused to talk to them. And what's more, he would not assign a homicide detective to work with the task force on any leads related to Jonathan's disappearance. So ultimately, the Operation Silent Thunder Task Force arrested 320 manufacturers, dealers, and users, leading to 32 federal convictions. 5 of the 6 kingpins were among them. It seized 2 dozen labs, 200 pounds of product. Let's see. So I was just talking about they're praising themselves for the good job they did with this Operation Silent Thunder. So then this other deputy who was being investigated and 5 other deputies ended up filing complaints with the department against Hager and Lieutenant Shreves. They alleged that they had been defamed. Use falsified documents and search warrants in the course of their work, blah, blah, blah. And unfairly announced to department staff that this deputy was the main suspect in Jonathan's case. So yeah, I don't know. There might be something. I was thinking maybe just an accident, but, and once again, I don't think, once again, this article is linked in the description box, but you get the gist of it, of what they're trying to say is that maybe he, Jonathan stumbled, either knew about what was going on with this operation or these corrupt deputies, or stumbled onto something in this jog that he took this day, that he was going to go to the mountain on this particular day. So, but anyway, if you want to read the rest of it, you can read it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm beginning to think there might be something there. Not saying there is. I don't know, obviously, but yeah, a lot of especially with when this Brandenburg, Deputy Brandenburg or whatever he was the one that was investigating Jonathan's disappearance. So he gathered all this evidence and information and took it to one of the higher ups, and basically the case, he had to turn over all the case files. It was taken away from him, assigned to somebody else. And then this higher up, I forgot what his name was, I'm not going to scroll back through here, he reassigned it to this other deputy or whoever and said, take care of me. And basically nothing else was done as far as Jonathan's disappearance. Something is afoot at the Circle K, in my opinion. Just my opinion. Anyway, I got to take a break for reading for a minute. I think that's, I don't think there was anything in these other articles. I think I bookmarked about 2 or 3 because I was having trouble with them, just in case some of them didn't come up. Let me see. Oh, one was a web sleuth thread, so we don't need that one. There's plenty of information in that article, I think. Let me just make sure. First, let me get a drink. Sorry, guys. You're hanging in with me. Thank you so much for everybody who's hanging in with me. Sorry, I did not mean to slurp that loud on my tea. I was not being very ladylike when I was sipping on my sweet tea. Let me see if there's anything in. Yeah, that was just, I mean, when I was reading all that, I'm like, it's like I'm reading the plot to a movie or something, just craziness. But allegedly, I was going to say, allegedly it's all true, because a lot of that quotes and stuff were from testimony, sworn testimony. It's crazy. But then again, the LAPD does have a history of, not all of it, but it does have a history of some corruption. Let's see, I don't think, no. So web sleuths didn't really have anything. Let's see. Okay, so there's another article. I'm not going to read it. We've been on here, let's see, 2.5 hours. Let me just see if there's anything. I may read just some excerpts. This is from witnessla.com. It is from October 2015. The troubling case of the vanishing LA County Sheriff's deputy. What really happened to Los Angeles County Sheriff's Deputy John Aujay. So it goes through what happened. So apparently a lady, I don't know if she's a reporter, or she writes for a magazine, Claire Martin, whoever wrote this article said, I spoke with Claire Martin several times at length while she was working on the story, so I know a little bit about what she was uncovering. The story is not yet online. I'm sure, I mean, it is by now. This was written 10 years ago. A couple of clips from it. Quote, "This story has been almost 4 years in the making and took you places mentally and geographically that you could not have anticipated. How did you learn about John Aujay?" She says, "In the fall of 2011, I learned about a trial that had just begun in downtown LA. A former sheriff's deputy was suing the LA County Sheriff's Department for wrongful termination. I'd heard a few details about the case that involved cartels in the Antelope Valley, a DEA joint task force dubbed Operation Silent Thunder, and the mysterious disappearance and possible homicide of Aujay by a fellow deputy. I was surprised that I'd never read anything about the case before, and when I did some quick web research, nothing much turned up. I decided to drive downtown and listen to a day's worth of testimony. I ended up returning every day for a couple of weeks until the closing argument." So she was there at the trial. So if you remember, I said earlier that this deputy sued for defamation and all sorts of things. So apparently that was this trial. So the testimony, she says, the testimony from the various agents, deputies, and sheriff's officials proved to be jaw-dropping at times. Aside from homicide allegations, there were details of misconduct among deputies, some of whom were accused of getting too cozy with the manufacturers of the area. Or this is the question that the interview is asking. He or she said, "How bad did things get for the sheriff's department in the Antelope Valley?" So she says, quote, they were bad enough that the DEA was called in to dismantle the rings as rumors circulated that the sheriff's deputies were befriending dealers and leaking information to them in advance of bust. The allegations against deputies range from fraternizing with cartel members to warning them of investigations to operating labs with them to homicide. So this is where Jonathan's story comes in. As you heard when you started attending the trial, this is the interviewer. One theory being pursued by a couple of LASD investigators was that a fellow deputy, someone who with alleged ties to this world, had taken his life. There's a theory from a former LASD captain, Jonathan's last boss, that his life was taken by a deputy, but not the deputy who was being investigated. And there were vague suspicions within the department that whatever the case, Jonathan's stern demeanor could have provoked his homicide. Workplace politics can be tricky, but it's remarkable that more than one officer or former officer thought that his co-workers would be capable of homicide. So she answers, "That's right. The LASD quickly ruled that Jonathan had likely took his own life, but tipsters and confidential informants told the department they had heard he may actually have been the victim of a homicide by the operators of these labs, which included a fellow deputy, allegedly. Separate investigations by a sheriff's homicide detective and the Operation Silent Thunder task force turned up similar intel. So did the FBI. Years later, Jonathan's former boss, Mike Bauer, began to suspect that a different deputy, someone who is now retired, had been the offender. Bauer had worked under 3 sheriffs during his career and told me that he had watched the LASD's checks and balances for handling internal corruption collapse under Baca. Sheriff Lee Baca. So that was, so she, whoever this lady was, once again, you can read I read most of it. She attended the trial. Yeah. So that just kind of reinforces, in my opinion, this whole cartel ring thing. Right, so I think that is all that I had. Wow, that was wow. Like I said, it's truth is stranger than fiction. I know I'm so behind in comments right now. Let me get back, and I don't know if I remember to Okay. I think I went too far. Hold on. Trying to find out where I left, figure out where I left off in comments. Okay, there's where I was. Okay. So Dandy says, I'm assuming you're talking about Jonathan, says he looks like David Yannetti, an attorney for Karen Reed. Mustang says, is Junior still here? I don't know. Junior might be passed out by now. Yep, he was a cop. He was a LA County deputy. As Paula says, red flaggy city. Daddy said, when officers and park officials go missing, I think cartel. Oh, Doodle is lauding about something. As far as said, only a week. Oh yeah, they only searched for a week and then they quit. Yeah, I think maybe we might possibly if we go down that rabbit hole have a reason why they only searched for a week and said, oh, he took his own life. Case closed. Dandy said, wonder if they recovered his service weapon and if he self-deleted. And that's still a possibility. I mean, it is, but they never. You would have thought that they would have found his body, but then again, if there was all this corruption going on and all this involvement with this cartel thing, even if he did take his own life, they may have just they wanted to get rid of. Apparently, allegedly, they wanted to get rid of him anyway. So they might have just taken. Who knows? They could have just taken his body and put it somewhere. It's also a possibility, Miss Paula says. Not sure about cartels, but maybe he walked into a crime in progress or was a target for someone he arrested. Absolutely. Dandy said, sounds like cartel, in my opinion, especially if he was undercover with operators, even other officers. I trust none of them. See, Dandy hit it on the head. That's probably before I even got into the Operation Silent Thunder thing. Quit popping up. Stuff keeps popping up. Paula says, or there was a prison escape gone wrong. Yeah, Ms. Z said, if he self-deleted, I would think they would have found him. Yeah, that's what I think. I'm beginning to think, I don't know, just my opinion. Once again, for anybody who's just come in or may watch this on replay, all thoughts and opinions expressed here are purely our own. We are not stating them as fact. Just observations based on information that we are reading. You know, if there was something to this corruption, which I 100% totally believe, because we, you know, any of us who are of a certain age and has you know, been around for any length of time, especially back in the 80s and 90s, know about the corruption in the LAPD. Yeah, Dandy said, I'd like to see a picture of him undercover. He looks like military or LE. Yeah, he was both. Yep. Oh, where is that? Miss Z wanted to know, where's the dog? I don't know. It didn't say what. Are you talking about Bosco, his partner? I don't know. I don't think it ever said. But I know I skimmed through some stuff, but I don't think it said where the dog is. Hopefully with a good owner living a happy life. Retired. Because this was back in 1998, so. And usually with in most departments, canine handlers, whenever their partner, their dog, their canine is retired, it will live with state, because when they're still working, when the canine's still working, most of the time they do live with their partner, with their handler, and most of the time when the dog is retired, they stay with the partner, with their partner, with the handler. So, but now with him disappearing, I don't know if the wife, Deborah, would have kept the dog. I don't know. It said she had a dog. I think she had a pity, I think. And the one he had was I can never say it right, Belgian Malinois, if I'm saying that right. Aren't they like a form? Don't they look like German shepherds, kind of? Anyway, yep. Dandy's talking about the Travis Decker case. So she says Travis Decker self-deleted after, yeah. And he was found months later after he did the thing in a previously searched area. I don't trust anything. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he was found what, a half a mile away or a mile away from the truck. Decker was. Yep. Miss Z Gree says you're right about that. I think he thought he was going to get away. Talking about Travis Decker, though. Then finally gave up. Yeah, he gave up. I don't. Miss Z said, did she say he was running with his dog, or did I mishear that? I don't think he had the dog with him. Let me go back to the Charlie Project information. Whew, I've had a headache today. Hold on. No crap. Hold on. I gotta switch tabs before I switch articles. I don't think he had the dog with him. Just says he went for a day hike in the Devil's Punch Bowl area. He never returned. Someone encountering the teacher in the class with children, or the class. Says over the next several hours, 2 witnesses saw a man fitting his description jogging. They didn't mention the dog with him. I'm gonna assume that the dog was not with him. That is possible. Ms. Z says, could the shot that the people heard have been for help? Absolutely, absolutely. I didn't think about that. Thank you. Yeah. Because they heard the shot just shortly after a witness saw him or somebody fitting his description return to the parking lot. That is a possibility. Going back to Travis Decker, Dandy says, I'm glad they found him so the mother of the girls can rest a little easier. Absolutely. Bless her poor heart. Yes, absolutely. Oh, wow. Ms. Z says, I just read that a Dallas attorney is missing in the Appalachian Mountains after going on a hike. He is 67. People often take someone with them, so stop hiking alone. I know that. I mean, I can understand wanting to just go out and have some alone time, but not going into, now if you're just walking around like a local hiking trail where there's other people around, but then you can hike and get away from people. But still, even doing that, I wouldn't do that by myself. But yeah, when I hear about people in rugged territory, mountain climbing and hiking by myself, it scares me to death because things happen. Things happen. See, I thought about that too when it comes to the possible self-harm part of this. As Z said, that is weird. He packed up the medals and returned all this stuff. But like we talked about earlier, he says you can leave a marriage without leaving your child. Yeah. So that's why I kind of, part of my brain is like, well, maybe it was self-harm because you hear that a lot with people who take their own lives is they start giving stuff away or returning stuff. So, it's possible. Yeah, Ms. Z says that sounds like a goodbye. It does. Yep, Dandy says California has similar terrain to Colorado. He could literally be in the open and never be found. Absolutely. GP agrees with Miss C. Yep. That is true. Dandy says survivalists are not exempt from mental illness. Absolutely. Ms. Z says he could have arranged to be picked up. Julie said if he's a survivalist, maybe he's living in the forest. Possible. Like I said, anything's possible, especially in this one because all this crazy stuff going on. Dandy says, wonder if he fled to witness protection. Our government isn't the most honest. He was an undercover agent. Also a possibility. Yeah, especially if especially with all that alleged corruption, everything that was going on with that, with the cartel, with the operation thing. Yeah, Miss Z says there's a theory that John life was taken out on the trail that day by a fellow deputy for the purpose of keeping him from spilling information about links to the M Lab. Yep. See, to me, that makes sense too. I mean, if it wasn't self-harm, because what possibilities do we have? Self-harm, accident, and they just didn't find his body, or it was tied into this Operation Silent Thunder, and like you said, he was going to spill the beans or spill the information, and they're like, especially when the officer or whatever, Brandenburg, when he was actually doing his job and investigating and gathered all this information and evidence, he took it to his superior. He was ordered to give all his research and all his files to his superior. The superior handed it off to another deputy and said, take care of me, or take care of this for me, or whatever it was. Yeah, yep. Yep, Z says he could have gone into witness protection for the information he gave and didn't want to take his wife with him. True. See, and I wanna, it might have gone more into detail in that really long article that I was reading. I want to know more about this. And I don't know if she was law enforcement also. I think maybe she was the one that he had begun this relationship with. I would have liked to know more of that aspect also. But I mean, it probably has nothing to do with his disappearance, but you never know. I mean, did they start their relationship before he wanted a divorce, or was he already unhappy in the marriage and was already, him and his wife were talking about divorce, and then they started the relationship with this, with this other deputy, this other female. I would like to know more about that aspect. Yeah, Miss Barbara said it all. Wow. I know. You and me both, Dandy. You and me both. I'm by no means crazy. Now, I love me some conspiracy theories, but I'm not one of these crazy off the wall conspiracy theorists. But yeah, I'm very interesting also. Yeah, Mustang says it's crazy how many people go missing, and it sounds like foul play and red flags everywhere. I like how you put. Dandy says Ellie shoots diarrhea all over missing people, and the people looking to locate loved ones sounds fishy AF. Yeah. I agree. Dandy says, sorry, but after 20 years of not solving a case, all info should be released to the public, or at least to the families, at the very least to the families, and let the public sleuth these if you're out of gas. Absolutely. Look at everything that, I don't know, Miss Barbara's still here, or she was. a little while ago. Look at everything that Miss Barb has had to go through to try to get any kind of documents and anything pertaining to Timmy's case. I mean, Miss Barb's got her eyeballs going. Does that mean you're stuck in your computer again? Do we need to come get you? Yeah, Danny said, this sounds like Boston. Yeah, this sounds like mafia stuff. Oh, goodness. Yeah, Z says it sounds like a TV movie. Absolutely. Yep, Dandy says, did a corrupt DA allow a secret wiretap? That's not tinfoil hat stuff. It happens. Oh, yeah, it does happen. Barb says, it is insane. Oh, another wow from GP. I know, y'all. Y'all, I'm telling you, I read most of that really long article except for the very end. I got all the pertinent parts in. But yeah, definitely, like I said, everything's linked. If you want to read it again and go through it and the other articles, please do. Yes, Dandy says, praying for his child. She's the innocent one in this. Absolutely. GP said he or she, sorry, I believe 100% of that. Are you talking about the Operation Silent, all the corruption stuff? I believe it too. I believe it. I mean, I was alive or old, and of course I was alive in the 80s. I was born in 71. I was old enough in the 80s and 90s when all that really bad corruption stuff was going on with the LAPD. So I remember all that stuff. And this happened in what, 98. So I absolutely believe all of it could be 100% true. Oh, everything just popped up on me here. Dandy says, when I heard 30 minutes ago that a colleague and fellow officer called it self-delete without walking off or down the path, I call bullshit. Yep, I agree. GP agrees. Miss Paula agrees. See, I wonder that too. Yeah, that's been brought up several times. Z says, I wonder if he could have turned evidence on his fellow deputies and gone into witness protection, because why pack your medals? That is just where I didn't think about that. That is, I mean, when we were talking earlier about him packing up all his stuff and giving his stuff away, I was thinking, that's what people do if they're going to take their own life. But yeah, if you go into WITSEC and to witness protection, you can't take anything of your past life with you. Absolutely not. So that would be a plausible explanation about giving away giving away that stuff, not taking your medals. Absolutely. I don't know. Are you talking to me, Dandy? Dandy said you said that perfect 100. I don't know if you're talking to me. Belgian Malinois. I probably said it. I don't know if that was it. Ms. Z says Belgian Malinois is a military or police dog, very high energy. Yes. I think that's what they use. And don't they kind of resemble German Shepherds? Because I watch, me and Mom watch On Patrol Live. It used to be called Live PD. They changed it anyway. And they feature their canines a lot. And yeah, I think they use mostly the Belgian Malinois. Yeah, they're very high energy. Oh God, they're so beautiful though. So precious, so cute. Let's see. Trying to get everybody's comments here. Dandy says, I really believe that protection program left his unhappy wife and child. Yep. True. Yep. Ms. Z says, they said he liked to follow the rules and had morals. So I could see where he would turn people in. Told his wife to have a nice life because he did not want to take her with him. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, Dandy says, I thought that way earlier in the revelation. I think it's possible. Yep. Yep. Dandy says they didn't find his body because they didn't. Because they never looked. In my opinion, I kind of agree. Missy says knowing he was going into witness protection. What, it's lightning where you are, Miss Barb? Are y'all getting the storms already? Dandy says Ellie rarely does the search happen unless it's a young child and sometimes a missing elderly. Yep. Okay, Missy says yes about the Belgian Malinois. They are leaner. Yeah, they are leaner than a German Shepherd. Yeah. Oh, I think I got caught up. And Dandy says, and smarter in my opinion, very high energy pups. Yep. All right, I got caught up. I think we got maybe one or two more, but I think the last couple I had did this one had out of all of them. Well, if I can push the right button, yeah. Out of all the cases tonight, this one definitely I think is a, I don't want to say winner, but you know what I mean, is the one that had the most information and the most possibilities. And I think maybe we can go down some rabbit holes and maybe kind of have our opinions. I'm gonna say figure out what happened, have our opinions about what might have happened. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so Ms. Z says what that was supposed to say was maybe he started that relationship up with that other woman to give cover for leaving for witness protection. Good, excellent point, excellent thought. Oh, the light. I got you, Miss Bart. Yeah, lightning. The lightning struck. Yeah, lightning everywhere in Timmy's case. Yeah, Miss Z always has some very good theories. I'm telling you, if you haven't gone to check out Miss Z and Doc, go over there, watch their live streams, watch their. They do. Oh God, such a fantastic job sharing the information in whatever case they're talking about, whatever case they're covering. They do it first and foremost with respect, with compassion, with empathy, but then just very good information, very good theories on what they think. Just present the facts. I'm telling you, I can't say enough. Go check them out. Absolutely, Miss Paula. It'll come up. Says being a cop is a dangerous job. You are correct. You are correct. All right. So this is the oldest one, I believe. This was from 1968. But please, if anybody has any more comments, questions on any of the cases we've covered so far, you still keep putting them in chat. Absolutely, we will go back to them. Keep my hair out of my mouth. Let me find. This is Madeline Anna Babcock. There's a little bit of information to this one. Maybe have an opinion on what might have happened in this one. But Miss Madeline here went missing in June 11th, 1968 from Los Angeles. She's a white female. She was just 35 years old when she went missing. She'll be 93 years old as of 2025. When she went missing, she was tiny, 4'11" and 105 pounds. She has sandy blonde hair and hazel eyes. She has a high forehead with a slight bulge on the right side. She wears bangs to conceal the bulge. Her nickname is Lynn. Her maiden name is, I have no idea how to pronounce this, Pouliot, Pouliot. And her name from her first marriage is Larcombe or Larcome, Larcome. She has previously broken her nose. Her ears are pierced. She has a scar on her abdomen from a hysterectomy that she had in 63 or 64. No known, less known clothing. So So some more words that I might have trouble pronouncing. So they said she is hydrocephalic, 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 and requires spinal punctures every 7 years to regulate her condition. Now I want to know what hydrocephalic is. I'm sure somebody will look it up. She had her most recent puncture in 1947 at the age of 14, and she was overdue for the procedure. She may suffer amnesia as a result of her condition. In addition, she had a problem with alcohol at the time of her disappearance. So I want to know what hydrocephalic or hydrocephalic. I'm going to go with hydrocephalic. Maybe the retention of water or retention of some kind of fluid, because in hydro fluid. Anyway, somebody look it up for me. Okay, so according to Miss Madeline's sister, Pat Foy, Madeline contacted her family for the last time at around 4 p.m. on June 11, 1968, from her hometown of Los Angeles. Sorry, I feel like I'm pushing my table around here. She called her mother from a payphone and said that she planned to have a friend drive her to her mother's residence the following day, which was located approximately 20 miles from Madeline's Venice apartment. Sorry. Madeline never arrived at her mother's home. She has not been seen again. She was employed as a barmaid at Fred's Tavern, and she also worked on an assembly line at a plastic glide factory, which is now out of business. Both of these were in Santa Monica, California. So her sister visited the bar when she failed to track down her sister within a few days. The owner of the bar says that Madeline did not report to work as scheduled during the first week of July 1968. She did not contact him. Madeline's sister and their mother stopped by Madeline's apartment on Flower Street in Venice later in the week. The landlord allowed them to go inside the residence, and they discovered all of Madeline's personal belongings had been moved out. The landlord was unaware of any activity in the apartment during the preceding days, and he did not realize that Madeline was even missing. I guess he assumed that she was still living there. So did she move all the stuff out of her apartment, or did somebody else? So Madeline's mother and sister contacted the authorities in Venice, by mid-July of 1968 to report Madeline as a missing person. Law enforcement apparently was unconcerned about her disappearance. They believed that she had left of her own accord. Madeline's case has been filed with several missing persons agencies since that time. Currently, the LAPD, once again, we got the LAPD, is investigating. Her family says that she was close to them, and it is uncharacteristic of her to leave without warning. According to her sister, I keep wanting to call her Lorraine. So we'll keep wanting to call her Lorraine for some reason, Madeline. So according to her sister, Madeline was abused by one of her former husbands. She was twice married and divorced at the time of her disappearance. She had 4 children. She did not finish high school. Her hobbies in 1968 included singing and playing guitar. The family stated that she was not close to them, and it was not unusual of her to be out of touch with them for long periods. But yet they said it was uncharacteristic of her to leave without warning. Kind of a little bit contradictory, but okay. She apparently had very few friends in the Venice area. Her sister continues to search for her, and her case remains unsolved. So if you have any information, once again, call the LAPD at 213-996-1800. Let me see. I think I had an article. Maybe it's not too long. Ooh, we're 3 hours in. That's all right. Thank you, everybody who's hanging in with me. Or once again, if you're watching it on replay, thank you very much. You might have to watch it an hour at a chunk at a time. Okay, this article is not that long at all. Just maybe a little bit. Might have a little bit more information. So this is from LAUTH Missing Persons Division website. Madeline Anna Babcock was 35 years old when she vanished from Venice, California. The beautiful young woman who went by the nickname Lynn had been employed as a barmaid at Fred's Tavern and worked a second job on an assembly line at a local factory in Santa Monica. According to Patricia Foy, Madeline's sister, the last time anyone heard from Madeline was the afternoon of June 11th, 1968 at approximately 4 p.m. when she called her mother from a payphone in Venice, so we know that. She told her mother that she planned to have a friend drive her to her mother's home the following day. She never arrived. So that's when her sister and mother went to Venice to search for her. They were told by the owner of the tavern that Madeline had not reported to work for a week, or the first week of July. The property owner at her apartment on Flower Street permitted her mother's sister to go into the apartment, where they found all of her personal belongings were gone. It appeared that she had moved out, though the property owner had not been aware of any activity at the residence. So that would lead me to believe that maybe whether Madeline did it or somebody else, that maybe they waited until late at night and just kind of did it surreptitiously, took everything out of the apartment. If nobody, because you would think, just my opinion, you would think that if it was done during the daytime, if people would have seen stuff, somebody moving stuff out of the apartment. So the identity of Madeline's friend, who she indicated was going to drive her home to her mother's home, was never identified. So I'm interested about this friend too. Her sister and her mother proceeded to attempt to make a missing persons report with Venice police, but they were told by police that Madeline probably left willingly, which her family disagrees with. In 1968, law enforcement handling of missing persons cases was very different than it is today. That is true. The NCIC system did not exist, and families were lucky to get police to accept a missing persons report. Currently, LAPD is investigating the case, but leads have grown cold in the years following. So in 2007, a person came forward and said they may have possibly. Let me start over. In 2007, a person came forward and said they may have possible information that Madeline had been located, but unable to speak for herself. So she would have been pretty old. Not saying that disrespectfully, but so according to so I'm wondering if maybe if this is true what this person said, if maybe she'd been located at some kind of a nursing home or what am I trying to say? Healthcare, long-term healthcare place, like a nursing home or something like that. So according to NamUs, Madeline was born with hydrocephalus, an often debilitating condition that can cause swelling of the brain. Madeline's mother has since passed away, but her sister provided a DNA sample to cross-reference with the DNA from the unidentified woman, maybe the one that they found that they thought might have been her, but it was not a match. Often long-term missing persons cases fall through the cracks, and sadly, decades can pass without resolution for surviving family members. True. Many families have turned to private investigators for help. With any cold case, private investigators focus on reviving leads by interviewing individuals who know the missing person at the time of their disappearance, former coworkers, friends, family. Working cooperatively with law enforcement, private investigators bring with them a new set of eyes to review details of the case and the ability to spark the interest of media, providing exposure necessary to potentially generate new leads. But advocates caution families to check the work history of any private investigator they plan to hire to avoid becoming victims of financial and emotional exploitation. Absolutely. But also agree that hiring a private investigator may be their only hope to find the fate of their missing loved one. That's so true. You have to be so careful with private investigators. All right, so that was Miss Madeline. So what do you guys think? Did she leave willingly? Let me go back. It didn't say. I'm assuming she wasn't married. Hold on. So she was 35. I mean, look at that picture I used. It came from one from the Charlie Project. She looks like a movie star, one of the old, like 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, the 30s or 40s movie stars. Just that picture, gorgeous. I'm going to assume. I don't like to assume, but I'm going to assume that maybe she wasn't married. Didn't say anything about a husband or anybody that she lived with. Maybe she did want to leave to go somewhere else. Because everything was moved out of the apartment. Did she do it, or have somebody do it for her and move somewhere else, and just wanted, for whatever reason, wanted to get it, because it does happen, wanted to get away, start a new life, get away from her family. It did say that the family, her family stated that she was not close to them, and it was not unusual for her to be out of touch with them for long periods. So, I mean, maybe it wouldn't have bothered her to just go to leave her family behind and start a new life somewhere else. Possibly, Says she apparently had very few friends in the Venice area. So I don't know. This one, I don't know. This one might be a case of just she did want to. She wasn't close to her family. She didn't have friends in the area. Maybe she wasn't happy there. So she worked at the bar. She was a barmaid at Fred's Tavern. She worked on the assembly line at a plastic factory. I mean, maybe she did say, I'm tired. I want a new life. I want to go move somewhere else, do something different, meet new people, start a new life. I think in this case, just my opinion, that's a distinct possibility. I mean, I don't see really anything sketchy or hinky that, as far as I'm concerned. Now, you guys absolutely let me know if you. I mean, they did mention this friend. Where was it at? Oh, maybe it was in the article. The friend that supposedly drove her, or was going to drive her from her apartment to her mom's house, 20 miles away, was never identified. I mean, that might be something, could be something, could be nothing. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm just not getting any kind of foul play, weird, kind of vibes with this one. I don't know. Once again, that's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. I'm not a professional, anything. Plus, it said that she was abused, and I don't know how long between when she disappeared and when this happened. It did say she was DV incidents with one of her former husbands. She had been married twice, married and divorced. She had four. See, the only thing is that she had 4 children. So I'm wondering how old the children were when she either left of her own accord or went missing. That's the only thing that I might have, that I might not, that might sway me from her not leaving of her own accord, because it doesn't say what happened to the children. I don't think. Just said that she was twice married and divorced at the time of her disappearance and had 4 children, but it didn't say how old they were. But she was only 35. So, I mean, they could have been, depending on when she had them, they could have been teenagers, young adults. They could have been of age. I don't know. Maybe they lived with their father. I don't know. I don't know. It would be interesting to know who the friend was, just for peace of mind, who the friend was that was going to drive her from her apartment to her mother's home, 20 miles away. That's not a long way. She never arrived at the mom's home. That's a little red flaggy to me. So that, and then leaving the children behind if she left her own accord. But once again, depending on how old the children were, or if she even had custody of the children, maybe the fathers got custody of the children during the divorce. I don't know. That would make sense. That would make the leaving of her own accord make more sense to me, is if the children were old and were grown, of age to take care of themselves, or they were living with the fathers. Anyway, I'm babbling. I should be seeing what you guys think. So I think we got a couple more to go over, but in these last 2, not very much information at all that I can remember. Basically, just a trolley project information. So I'll see right quick what you guys have to say about Miss Madeline's case here. Sorry once again if I try not to slurp on my straw when I'm drinking, but my voice and my throat's wearing out a little bit here. Let me get back to there's where I was. I don't know who you're talking to, but you're welcome. Ms. Z says, thank you so much. It means a great deal coming from you. Oh, when I was talking about, absolutely. You deserve it, ma'am. You and Doc. Absolutely. Thank you, Miss Dandy. There's a link to check out Trial Junkies United. See, yep, Ms. Z had the same thought. She said, look at that picture. She looks like a movie star. I know, like, she looks like a 30s, 40s movie star. Beautiful. I wonder if she did or might have wanted to be an actress or something, or a model, an actress or a model. I mean, just look at that. Just looking at that picture, to me, that looks like a professional, like, headshot for a model or anybody that wanted to be an actress. To me, that's what that picture reminds me of. Yep, Dandy says she is breathtaking. Yeah, she was tiny, 4'11", 105 pounds. Dandy says that I'm 4'11", but 15 to 20 pounds heavier. I'm a midget linebacker. Oh, see, I thought I was short. I'm 5'3" on a good day, but I don't weigh 105 pounds. I weigh a lot more than that. Okay, thank you. That's what I was thinking. It has something to do. Dandy says hydrocephaly is extra fluid on the brain. Thank you, ma'am. I was thinking it might have had something to do with some kind of fluid on the brain, because I know hydro has something to do with fluid and water. I did pay a little attention when I was in school. Okay, so Dandy says, let me stumble over this. Excess cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, in the brain, not a good thing. Okay, so I've heard of CSF. All right, gotcha. Okay, I'm trying to try not to. I'm gonna try to pronounce this the best I can. Danny says my youngest son has achondroplasia, and that's a major complication that is most common. Luckily, he does not suffer from it. Bless his heart, but at least he didn't suffer from it. Yes, that's how you spell it, I believe. Yep, hydrocephalus. Yeah, Paula says she was beautiful. Absolutely. Yep, Danny said is hydrocephalus, one and the same. Barb says yes, she was beautiful. Ah, okay. So Ms. Z says famous people with hydrocephalus include Billy Joel, singer Billy Joel, actor Danny Bonaducci, who had surgery for it in 2023. Billy Joel had issues with his hearing, vision, and balance, and he canceled his concert. Oh, so that I remember reading that he was canceling concerts. I wonder if that was, but that was before 2023. Back when whatever year it was that he was touring with Elton John, he and Elton John were touring together. They were going to come here to Little Rock, and me and baby brother and baby sister-in-law actually got tickets to go mainly because we love Elton John. Billy Joel's okay, but we were just going to see mainly Elton John. But they didn't even reschedule. I don't think they just canceled the concert altogether because Billy Joel had health issues. I don't know if it had anything to do with the hydrocephalus or not. But anyway, so that's interesting. And Danny Bonaducci, what was Danny Bonaducci on? That name, I know that name. I can see him, but I can't think of what he was on back in the day. Okay, you're talking about Madeline. Dandy said, quote, or if her parents believe the doctors, I can see how she would run away. They shunned her. Oh, I didn't think about that. True. Miss Barb says she wanted to be alone. I've always been alone. Miss Paula can see red flags. Yeah, like I said, the red flag thing that sticks out to me the most is and it could be the friend, this unidentified friend that was supposed to drive her from her house to her mom's house. She never made it to the house. You know, the friend something nefarious could have happened with the friend. It didn't say if it was male or female, but it could be. Females commit crimes too. Statistically, it's going to be more likely to be a male, but females, So either something nefarious happened with the friend, or the friend was in on that Madeline wanted to leave of her own accord, and that the friend helped her leave, and this friend kept the secret for all these years. I don't know. That's the only two possibilities I can think of as far as her not making it to the, or so they said this friend was just unidentified. So does that mean that they know? Okay, now I'm thinking. The squirrels are running in my brain now. Did they ever? But did they ever? They said it was unidentified. But so does that mean they never found the friend either? So if they never found the friend either, is it possible? So if they never found the friend, does that mean both of them are missing? Or do they know who the friend was that was driving her? They just have never put the name out publicly. They just said the name of the friend, or the friend has never been identified. Maybe they meant, because I think it was from the Charlie Project or from the article. No, maybe it's from the article. They just said that the friend has never been identified. Maybe they meant has never been identified publicly. So if they just mean that, I know I'm babbling. I'm telling you, my squirrels are going now. So if they just mean that the friend was never identified publicly, that means that law enforcement or they found the friend, talked to the friend, but then you would think that doesn't make any sense either. You would think that the friend, what kind of story if y'all, I'm going down a rabbit hole. It's too late for me to go on down a rabbit hole. It's almost midnight here. If they found the friend, what kind of if Madeline left so if they found the friend, if Madeline left of her own accord, the friend would still have to make up some kind of story or whatever. Or if you look at the flip side, if the friend, if something nefarious happened with the friend, then they have to make up a story about what happened to Madeline. Oh man, I thought that other case was going to keep me up, but this one, the more I think about this one, I don't know. The friend thing gets me. That's my only hang up. Anyway, the squirrels are running laps tonight. Yep. Ms. Z says it's hard to tell with this one because you can't believe what anyone says. The family doesn't know her. She could have picked up and left. True. But see, now I want to know about this friend. Does it mean the friend wasn't found? They found the friend. They just never put his or her name out in public. So what kind of story did the friend give if they talked to the friend? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. Dandy says, even with her conditions, she was functioning sufficiently until she disappeared. Thank you, the Partridge Family. Yes, the Partridge Family. I was never really a big Partridge Family fan. I watched it every once in a while. Of course, it was, reruns. When did it come on? Because I was born in 71. Did it come on in the 70s or the 60s? Excuse me. Thank you, Miss Paula. So yeah, Partridge Family. Yeah, Ms. Z says they said she had no friends. So who was this friend? I know. See, the friend thing has got me hung up now. Because that's when she disappeared, was when the friend picked her up to take her to the mom's house, and she never made it. So the friend is the crux of the thing. Dandy says, I'm a ride or die. I would never tell it. I'd never tell in confidence if I was asked to. Yeah. See, but I go back. Yeah, but that goes back to if they found the friend, they questioned the friend. If she was covering because Madeline just wanted to, skedaddle and start a new life, what was the story that was plausible enough that law enforcement believed and said, okay, but wouldn't they have told the family? When they told Madeline's family? Or if something, nefarious happened with the friend, then you would have to have a story. Oh man, come on. I'm going around in circles. Yeah. Yeah, Dan says unless it was something like the murder and such. This is true. God, quit, Ms. Z. Now I'm going in different directions. Ms. Z says, how do we know a friend picked her up? We have no evidence of that, just the mother's word. So is that what the mom said? Okay, yeah, it could be just the mom's word. Yeah, because it said that supposedly Madeline called the family at 4 p.m. on June 11th from a payphone, called her mother from a payphone, said that she planned to have a friend drive her to her mother's residence the following day, which was just 20 miles away, which is not that far at all. And she never arrived at her mother's home, has not been seen again. So it's entirely possible that, so she lived in Venice, and I don't know how far apart, well, 20 miles, duh. So it's entirely possible that she didn't even leave Venice. Entirely possible. Man. This has got me as messed up as the other one does now. So yeah, it's entirely possible that she didn't even make it out of Venice. But somebody or somebody's moved everything out of her apartment. Either her or somebody, she asked somebody to, or if something nefarious happened. Why, I don't know. If something nefarious happened, why would somebody go and move all the stuff out of her apartment? Unless something happened in that apartment and they were trying to get rid of any kind of evidence. Man, I've got to stop with this tonight. Oh, we may have to revisit this case. I'm telling you. Goodness. See, I'm telling you. Miss Barbara says maybe she told her mother that. Yeah, see, now that I think about it, she may not have even left her apartment or left Venice. Because I was thinking, okay, she and the friend left, and somewhere between her house and her mom's house is when something happened, but she may have never even left. She may have never even left Venice. Hey, Boston Christian. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. We're going down rabbit holes right now. Not the crazy rabbit holes, just trying to figure things out, logic things out here. Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Ooh, a whole bunch of comments just popped up. This is true. That would make sense. Okay. Thank you. You're helping me. You're helping me make it make sense. Z says she could have told her mother that she was going to come, and then she decided to leave with someone else and just start over. That's true. And just make her family and everybody think that she went missing. That makes sense. That makes sense. That's the only thing that you made it make some sense. Thank you. All right. Let's get off of this one for a minute. We got a couple more. Like I said, the last two won't take very long. There's not a whole lot of information. So the next one we have is Jason Bennett. Let me find his information. Jason Paul Bennett. Jason has been missing since March 17th, 2019 from Los Angeles. He is a white male. He was 39 years old when he went missing. He would be 46 years old as of 2025. At the time he went missing, he was 6'1", 170 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. His nickname is Jay. No known last known clothing. They said he has an unspecified medical condition and may be in need of medical attention. So just unspecified medical condition. So Jason was last seen in Los Angeles on March 17th, 2019. He was agitated and confused at the time of his disappearance due to his medical condition. It would be nice to know what this medical condition is. He has never been seen or heard from again. He has disappeared before, and he does have a habit of going off on camping trips when he gets upset. So I'm wondering if it's maybe some kind of mental health condition. So after his disappearance, his vehicle was found stuck in the snow on County Road 308 near Forest Route M3 in Glenn County, California. Search turned up no sign of Jason, but his belongings, including his ID, his credit and debit cards, and cash, were located. I'm assuming they were located in the truck, and his case remains unsolved. So if you have any information, you can call the LAPD at 877. Oh, my neck popped when I did that. 877-275-5273. I think I just had maybe a short article with his mom was asking for help. This is from July 2013. Malibu mom asked for help in finding missing son. No, I don't want that. No, go away. So Los Angeles police asked for the public's help in finding a 34-year-old Silver Lake man who suffers from a medical condition. Just the way they're putting it, I'm going to assume it's some kind of mental health condition. Jason Bennett last spoke to his mother on June 24th and has not spoken with any family members since then. He has never gone missing before. I thought the other one said that he had. Anyway, his vehicle was found in Yosemite National Park in a remote area. Paulette, when I say this, Paulette Ferket, 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 who lives in Malibu, it says that she wants her son to come home. And I was not making fun of the name, just the way it sounds when you say it. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. She said his Jeep was found in Yosemite under very strange conditions. It was very wrecked. They searched the area thoroughly and could not find anything. She said her son took part in the Malibu Arts Festival a few years ago. According to police, Bennett has been known to take off on camping trips when he becomes upset. His mother said her son was having some paranoid thoughts for the past couple of months. She said, quote, "It's all a complete mystery." Once again, he is 6 foot 1 inches tall, 180 pounds. Anyone with information was asked to call Detective Seiza of the LAPD's Missing Persons Unit at 213-996-1800. So yeah, maybe with his mom said he was having some paranoid thoughts, maybe some mental health condition. So I don't know. This one, possibly he was having some kind of mental health crisis. I don't want to assume, but I mean, that would be my first thought. Yeah. Dandy says, I understand HIPAA, but geez Louise, if someone is missing, that information is pertinent. I know, yeah. And usually they will say, they might not say exactly, but they'll say, this person has a mental health issue or mental health condition that they have to take medication for, or whatever the case may be, or a medical condition. So I'm just going to assume, just by the mom's statements about the paranoid thoughts, that, and since they didn't actually say what it was, that it's maybe could be a mental health issue, which is, nothing wrong with that. Let's see. So Miss Z says his vehicle was found in the snow with no footprints. Oh, I didn't think about that. So it snowed after. That is worrisome. He could have gotten lost up there. That is true. That is true. Yeah, because it was in March. So yeah, if you go high, it will snow. I don't know that. Ms. Z will know. Yeah, if you're high up in the mountains, it had to be snow. Yeah, because it said there was snow. So I wonder how long it would have taken the snow to melt off when it, from the. And go back to the chart. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore. Yeah, so I wonder how deep the snow was. If they did a search again after the snow melted off, or does it ever melt off? Is it always there? I know it depends on how high the height of the elevation, the elevation of the. Maybe that's why. Maybe he did walk up there and got lost and succumbed and just never found him. Absolutely. Um, yeah, he looked familiar. Miss Barbara says, I've seen this case. Yeah, when I saw the picture, it looked familiar to me. But then again, a lot of times I just sit and either on Facebook or just on Google, I will just put in missing persons and just browse. A lot of times on Facebook, I'll just browse my Facebook feed and just look at so many pictures. And his could have been one that just popped up. Yeah, Miss Barbara said it snowed in Missouri in March. Yeah. Yosemite Sam. Yeah, one of our missing, was it Jonathan's case? I think he had a Yosemite Sam tattoo, but he had it covered up with that SEB, which was that special unit or whatever that he worked in with law enforcement. Special something. It was SEB. Anyway. All right, so that was Jason. I think we have one more, and I think all we have on that one is just the trolley project, so it won't take long. So we've been here almost, well, that's not bad, almost 4 hours. Which I did have 8 cases tonight. Okay, so we have, I forgot to advance my slide. This is Robert Vincent Black. So Mr. Black has been missing since March 12th, 96. From Los Angeles. He is a white male. He was 64 years old when he went missing. He would have been 93 years old as of 2025. When he went missing, he was 6'1", 170 pounds with gray hair and brown eyes. He did wear glasses. I think I had, yeah. No known, last known clothing known. He was reportedly depressed over the state of his health at the time of his 1996 disappearance. So we have that. So Mr. Black was last seen leaving his Los Angeles, California residence on March 12th, 1996. Oh no, so this one, oh God, we might be here 5 hours now. So he was heading to a doctor's appointment at the time. He never returned home. He has not been heard from again. He may be, it says he may be a patient in a hospital or a nursing home. So now this was familiar to me when I started reading this. So apparently, Mr. Black was reportedly a patient of the same doctor who treated Goldie Swanger, Richard Davison, and Patricia Laxer, all of whom vanished in 1997. So I didn't have time to research it again, but the Goldie Swanger caught my attention. I've definitely heard that name and this about these people vanishing and something about a doctor. So Swanger was found. Goldie Swanger was found in 2004. The others are still missing. All 4 missing persons disappeared either en route or upon returning from appointments with the same physician, with the same doctor. It is not known if the cases are otherwise connected in any way, except for the fact that they were seeing the same doctor and they either disappeared going to or coming back from visiting the same doctor. Anyway, so once again, if you have any information on Mr. Black's case, you can call the LAPD at 213-485-5381. And like I said, I think that was all I was not able to find. Even with this, just that he was reportedly a patient of this same doctor with the Goldie Swanger, Richard Davison, Patricia Laxer, who all vanished in 1997. And he vanished in 1996. So might have to look deeper in this one. Won't go down that rabbit hole tonight. It's way too late. Anyway, get caught up in your comments and then we'll probably get out of here for the night. Let's see. Boston says that is so very worrisome, especially with all the smiley face events. Yeah. Mustang says my family lives in Missouri too, and I remember when they had snow in March. Yeah, I think we've had even here in Central Arkansas, because I know Mustang is up in Southwest Arkansas. I always forget, Southwest or Southeast. So you're close. You're a little bit more north than I am. But yeah, I think in Central Arkansas, way years back, I remember we had snow in March, or April, I believe. It's about I was young. Um, Dandy says, my family are all in Missouri. I'm marked safe in Colorado. Oh, Mustang asked Miss Barbara, do you know where Mount Vernon is? It's the beautiful Show Me State. Yeah. Are you talking about Mr. Black's case? Z says, this sounds like a whole show. So, yeah, with the, yeah, we might have to do a show. Let me go back to investigating these disappearances. Goldie Swanger, she was found in 2004. Let's see. Let's look at so it doesn't have any. So she was found. So she doesn't. I guess they deleted her if she was even in the Charlie Project to begin with. They deleted her page. So we had Richard Davison. So Richard Dean Davison went missing on October 29th, was last seen on October 29th, 1997 in Los Angeles. He's a white male. He was 70 years old when he went missing. So Mr. Davison was last seen leaving his Los Angeles, California residence on October 29th, 1997. He was en route to a doctor's appointment at the time of his disappearance. He never arrived at his destination, has not been heard from again. Once again, they say he may be a patient in a hospital or a nursing home. He was reportedly a patient of the same doctor who treated Robert Black, who is on the screen there, who disappeared in 96, Goldie Swanger and Patricia Laxer, both of whom vanished. Swanger was found in 2004. The others are still missing. Okay, so Patricia Laxer was the other one. So Patricia Ann Laxer disappeared on August 11th, 1997 from North Hollywood, California. White female. She was 63 years old. So Patricia returned to her residence in North Hollywood, California after a doctor's appointment on August 11th, 1997. She has never been seen again. So did somebody come get her out of her house? So she returned. She made it back to the house. She has never been seen again. Her car, I thought it said her cat at first. Her car was later found near the Universal City Overlook. At the time of her disappearance, she may have been despondent over an upcoming move to Oregon. She may be, once again, they say she may be a patient in a hospital or nursing home. Once again, she was reportedly a patient of this same doctor. I want to know this doctor's name. I'm going to have to research this. Once again, she was reportedly a patient of this same doctor. Yeah, we might have to do one of us, either me or Miss Z and Doc, might have to do a show about this. I'm telling you, rabbit holes tonight. Yep, Mustang's got the Yep, Boston says, what in the world? They all have vanished. Yeah, they all were either coming, supposedly, reportedly, either en route to or coming back from an appointment with the same doctor. And the three that they mentioned were 97. Mr. Black was disappeared in 1996. Mm-mm-mm. Yes, very interesting. Okay, I think that is I think that's it, guys. Man. Yeah, that's the last one I had. Whew, these cases tonight, especially the one I was expecting the one Jonathan's case. Go back to where's Jonathan? He was with the second one there. Jonathan Aujay. I was expecting that with that case because I'd already read all that information about the cartels and all that. I was not expecting to go down the rabbit hole, kind of with Madeline, but then not really with Jason. The possibility that he just, wandered up and just succumbed. But now we got this, Mr. Black, and these other people that disappeared with the same doctor. I kind of went, I kind of let myself go down a little bit of a rabbit hole when I was researching this one. But yeah, definitely, sorry, everything jumped again. Definitely gonna have to check that one out more. Why did my hold on, my comments went backwards instead of yeah, Boston says we need, oh my goodness, we all need to look into that again. The same doctor. I know. You're welcome. As he says, thank you for a wild ride tonight. Yeah, it turned into a wild one. Yeah. But hey, that's, I mean, oh man, you're very welcome, Mustang. Okay, you are talking about Mount Vernon. I've heard of Mount Vernon. I don't know exactly where it's at, but absolutely. Boston says, I'm going to go back to the beginning as I was very late. Yes, definitely check out when we're talking about Jonathan Aujay, that whole rabbit hole can of worms. Miss Barbara said, are you talking about Mount Vernon? Or it's convenient, everything's around me since I lived alone. It's not Fredericktown at least. Yeah. Boston says, I'm making my son's breakfast and lunch for tomorrow. It's very cold out tonight. I finally cooled off. It must be cooling off outside. I was hot. It was hot in here earlier, but I'm cooled off now. And my feet are cold. All right, guys. I think we've gone down enough rabbit holes for tonight. We may go down some more Thursday. Once again, for anybody coming in late or just coming in, not coming in late. You're never late. It doesn't matter what time you get here, as long as you're here, or if you're on replay. So Thursday, after Miss Z and Doc's show, which starts at 8 p.m. Central Time. So we're gonna, whoever wants to, please, I encourage, once again, I can't say it enough, please check out Trial Junkies United, Thursday nights, Sunday nights, 8 p.m. Central, lives. Excellent channel. I'm there every time I can be there live. If I can't make it live, I'm definitely replay crew. So I will schedule my live stream Thursday after for about 9. I'll schedule it for like 9:30, but I won't start it until Miss Z and Doc are done with theirs. So then, so please visit. What am I trying to say? My brain is mush now. So we'll have Trial Junkies United live stream, and then anybody who wants to can jump over and we'll do a live stream on mine. Like I said, I've had a bunch of cases from disappearedblog.com that I've had saved up that I was going to do individual videos on all of them, but I'm about to fill up my phone with it, so I got to clear my browser out. So I think I've got 11 of those. I know you're saying 11, we'll be here all night, but on those, it's just the basic. We're just going to have the basic information, just whatever's on Disappeared Blog, which they get their information from Charlie Project and NamUs and Doe Network. So we'll just give the basic information. I just kind of wanted to get the names out there to get people thinking, and for any other creators who might not have heard of some of these cases, because most of them I hadn't heard of, maybe one or two I had heard of before, to say, you know, if I'll give you the basic information, maybe a case or two will catch your attention, your interest, or touch your heart in some way, and say, hey, I want to do a live stream about this case, or I want to research this case, or do a video, or look at, or not even a creator, just anybody out there, say, hey, this case speaks to me. I want to research it. I want to learn more about it. I want to share it. Kind of the idea for the live stream I want to do Thursday. Anyway, I promise I'm going to quit babbling now. So once again, thank you everybody that was here, who was here in chat with me. You guys are fantastic. Anybody who was lurking, we love you guys. Replay crew, we love our replay crew. You guys are awesome. Thank you to members, subscribers, everybody. Once again, please hit the like button. If you're new here, if this sounds like, if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing, absolutely. If you want to help support the channel, donation links are in the About section. Everything I make goes right back into the channel. I'm by no means getting rich off of it. I think Ms. Z said it in her stream last night. We're not millionaires up here doing this, or at least we aren't. We're here to get the stories out, to get the stories out. Anyway, so hopefully I will see you guys. If nothing unforeseen happens before Thursday, I will see you guys after Trial Junkies United live stream. We'll come hang out and do a live stream over here. If I can get my brain back by then. So let me get my where's my kitty? Where's the kitties? There they are. The kitties have been crazy this week, by the way. If you remember, I've been posting a lot of pictures of Tigger and Biscuit. They've been crazy this week, y'all. They've been crazy. Anyway, so everybody have a good night. Have a good week. Be safe. You don't have to be paranoid. Just be aware. Don't be scared. Just be aware. Take care of each other. Be kind to one another. That's all we can do. Just be good humans. And I will love you guys, and I will see you guys Thursday.